Hello everyone, I'm Top Romance. Before watching the video, please take 3 seconds to like the video and subscribe to the channel so I can have more motivation to release many more quality videos. Thank you very much, and I wish you a happy new day. The story begins with the lavish wedding of Lang Tan-vu and Thursday Koi. People say that in a lifetime, good luck and bad luck both have limits. Thursday Koi smiled and said, "Thank you everyone for coming to my and Tan-vu's wedding. But speaking of a winner in life, we must mention our Tan-vu. She comes from a wealthy family, is loved by her husband, and even graduated with a master's degree in finance from Havant University. I heard she recently won the World Sailing Championship, right? Truly amazing. When good luck runs out, bad luck continuously follows. The Lang Corporation was suspected of embezzling public funds, losing public trust, and facing the risk of imprisonment. Tan-vu sat by her father's bedside and asked resentfully, "Dad, who falsely accused you of embezzling?" "Public funds," he weakly replied. "Be careful of your uncle." As soon as he finished speaking, he fainted. She screamed in despair. Returning home, she found her husband embracing another woman in bed. "Tan-vu, please let me explain. I was just playing around with her, it wasn't serious." Her face darkened with anger as she yelled, "Get out of my house!" When she lost her wealth and status, she was beaten and oppressed. This old woman is already old and ugly, and she still dares to show her face. She clutched her stomach in pain, lying on the tiled floor, wailing, "My child! Someone save my child! Please! I beg you! The baby is innocent. Let's see who dares to call an ambulance." "Lang Tan-vu, do you think you're still the pampered rich princess? Here, anyone can kick and punch you, spit on your Lang family. A person like you, chased out of the Thursday family, still dreams of getting justice for your foolish father? Just die." Then she was pushed into the lake, under the contemptuous gazes of everyone. She slowly sank to the bottom. A voice echoed in her mind, "Lang Tan-vu, wake up, wake up." She looked up in bewilderment and saw a girl sitting on top of her. "Who are you?" The girl replied, "I am Lang Tan-vu. I am you." Tan-vu was surprised. "You are me?" The girl's memories flooded her mind. Regardless of what she was like before, now she was just an orphan. With her status, wanting to marry the third young master of the No family, she deserved to have the engagement broken off. So what if her father made a fortune sailing? Didn't he end up dying without a trace? Her father is dead, so all this money belongs to her uncle, right? Rumor has it that Lam Jia-then's death might be related to the Lam family. Her uncle's family angrily scolded her mother. "You outsiders came into the Lam family, dreaming of the Lam family's fortune, and you dare to slander our patriarch?" Lang Tan-vu actually wants to move out and establish her own household. Does she plan to become a prostitute later? Hearing this, her mother collapsed in anger and grief. "Madam, wake up. Madam, you wicked creatures actually angered Madam to death." They mocked. "Dare to report us to the magistrate?" Fortunately, we've already spread the word. Once she dies, that house and all of Lam Jia-then's money will belong to us. Lang Tan-vu continued resentfully. "An innocent man has no guilt, but possessing a jade attracts trouble. I can no longer take revenge, so I beg you, help me avenge this injustice." In the immortal realm, a voice echoed. "Some say that a person's fortune and misfortune are both limited. Do you believe this?" The voice poured a cup of water down to the mortal world, the stream flowing into the lake where Lang Tan-vu had fallen. Lang Tan-vu emerged from the water. "I believe it, but I believe even more strongly that my fortune will definitely outweigh my misfortune. You have left me no way out, so I will make you pay in blood, starting with the field we are all most familiar with. Let's go." Whispers arose. "Did you hear? That Lam family girl is striking out on her own." She even asked the head of the Lam family about the big ship her father had that met with disaster. "I hear they're preparing to repair it and put it back out to sea. Striking out on her own, what's the difference between that and being a prostitute? Moreover, the ship is full of men. Has she no shame? I heard that repairing that broken ship will cost thousands of guan. Even if the Lam family gives her the ship, I doubt she'll be able to do anything with it. The great ship is called Fengshen." The beautiful girl stood on the deck, her brows furrowed in thought. The people outside weren't wrong. This ship was indeed severely damaged. Ding Dong Bo, a loyal subordinate of Lang Tan-vu's father and the captain of the Fengshen, looked at her and said softly, "Repairing the Fengshen won't be easy, Miss Lam. Are you sure you want to use all the money your father left you to fix this ship? The money your father left you is enough for you to buy hundreds of acres of land and find a good man to marry. Do you really want to risk everything like this?" Lam Tanvu leaned against the railing. She jumped down to the adjacent boat to inspect the situation. Old Ding, I also want to live a peaceful life. She examined the signs of a struggle below deck, her eyes narrowing. But the Lam family has pushed me to the brink, step by step, not even sparing my mother. I cannot forget this blood feud. Ding Dong Bo stood on the small boat beside her, his expression troubled, but the Ding family's men have all dispersed. Gathering them again won't be easy. Lam Tanvu glanced at him and said coldly, "Isn't this precisely why I sought out Old Ding? I wonder if Old Ding is interested in joining me in rebuilding this ship and restoring the function's prestige." Ding Dong Bo looked at her and sighed softly. "Even if I agree to go with you, without a navigator, you still can't set sail. Before, your father was the best navigator. Now he's gone. Even if we gather other people for you, you'll still be lost at sea. A Zhou Sure, equivalent to a ship's pilot in modern times, is essential." Lam Tanvu picked up a map, her eyes determined. "Perhaps you don't know, but navigation is my forte." Ding Dong Bo unfolded the map, his face stunned. This sea chart is even more extensive and detailed than your father's." Lam Tanvu looked at him calmly. Thanks to her sailing experience in her past life, she had a wealth of experience navigating around the world. Now, restoring a trading vessel wasn't too daunting. She leaned against the railing, looked at Ding Dong Bo, and asked with a smile, "I wonder if Old Ding still has the ambition to plant the Lam family flag at the ends of the ocean?" Ding Dong Bo looked at her and nodded. "All right. It's been a few days since I transmigrated. This era seems to be a parallel world, history diverging at the end of the Tang dynasty. The founding emperor changed from Zhao Kuangyin to Chai Rong, and the country's name is Zhou. I initially wanted to offer some suggestions to Old Ding for renovating the ship." Lam Tanvu strolled down the street, lost in thought. Getting a grasp on Old Ding was proving to be more difficult than she anticipated. Her forward-thinking renovation ideas had resulted in him cornering her with a barrage of questions, leaving her nearly speechless. Zheng Hai, a servant of the Lam family, spoke softly to Lam Tanvu. "Old Ding has always been a man of loyalty. Earning his complete trust isn't without its benefits." Lam Tanvu nodded in agreement, saying, "True, the great Zhou has enjoyed 60 years of peace and prosperity, and has even expanded its territories. Even 600 years ago, before the age of Western exploration began, great Zhou merchants were already venturing out to sea." Zheng Hai looked at her hesitantly and asked, "But miss, are you truly determined to go into maritime trade? It's a dangerous profession. After my mother's funeral, my uncle and aunt wanted to marry me off to just anyone. But meekly accepting their arrangements isn't my style." Lam Tanvu twirled a flower in her hand, her eyes flashing. "Of course. If I'm going to play, I'm going to play big." Her footsteps suddenly stopped. She stared in surprise at a tall, wounded man lying unconscious on the ground, a child beside him. "What's this?" The child sitting next to the unconscious man was sobbing. "Oh, brother!" The boy, seeing Lam Tanvu, ran to her and clutched her robe, pleading, "Sister, kind sister, please save my brother." Lam Tanvu looked at the child for a moment, then instructed Zheng Hai, who was standing behind her, "Come and help. Take this man away first, before anyone sees us." Zheng Hai looked at her with a troubled expression, but Lam Tanvu impatiently cut him off. "No buts. Saving a life is paramount." She took the two back to her home. Sitting by the bed, Lam Tanvu examined the wounds on the man with a surprised expression. "These are sword cuts. To survive being slashed like this." Zheng Hai looked at her worriedly. "Miss, be careful. I fear these two may have offended someone powerful, leading to this attempted murder." Sure E, covered in dirt, his eyes brimming with tears, cried out angrily, "No, my brother and I were attacked by bandits on the road. Brother was injured. We had no money, so we wandered here. Sister, I can work. As long as you agree to save my brother, I'll do anything." Then, the boy knelt on the ground, looking up at Lam Tanvu with a pitiful expression. "Do you want to take a husband? My brother is very handsome. Many sisters wanted to marry him before, but he refused. If you can heal him, I guarantee he'll be your husband without complaint." Lam Tanvu blushed, her delicate brows furrowing. "Don't talk nonsense. When did I say I wanted a husband?" Sure, he looked up at her innocently. "That I heard the bread seller in the street say that women living independently either take a husband or do something sneaky." Zheng Hai angrily raised his hand. "You little brat, what nonsense are you spouting?" Lam Tanvu raised her hand to stop him. "Zheng Hai, go and find a doctor. At that moment, Lu Jiao awoke. He propped himself up, pushing aside the blanket to stop her. Don't get a doctor. His strength gave out, and he collapsed back onto the bed. Lu Jiao leaned against the headboard, looking at Lam Tan Vu with gratitude. Thank you, miss, for saving my life. But a doctor, it's not necessary. I can manage. Sure, hearing this, anxiously said, Brother, your wounds are serious. Lam Tan Vu silently observed him. Long black hair, a high, straight nose, long black eyebrows, lowered eyelashes, and a firm chest. This guy is quite handsome. Look at the beads of sweat trickling down his collarbone. Lam Tan Vu's eyes lit up. Zheng Hai, take this child away and get him settled. Sure, he burst into tears as Zheng Hai forcibly carried him away. Wah, I don't want to leave my brother. Zheng Hai glared at the boy and snapped, Little brat, don't ruin the young Mrs. plans. Lam Tan Vu looked at Lu Jiao with a sinister smile. That I can finally play with this little beauty for a bit. The door quickly closed. Lu Jiao frowned slightly, a look of embarrassment on his face as he saw her unfriendly gaze. Why did young miss stay? Lam Tan Vu pushed Lu Jiao onto the bed and teased him with a smile. Why do you think I stayed? Lu Jiao blushed, looking at her with a mixture of embarrassment and surprise. Men and women shouldn't be so close. Please, young miss, show some restraint. She lightly touched him a few times, causing Lu Jiao's body to tremble slightly. Lam Tan Vu looked at him indifferently and said, if you want to save your life and that kid's, be good. Lu Jiao lay on the bed, his breathing ragged. Could it be that she's only keeping us here for this? Lam Tan Vu's slender leg straddled him. Her fingers gently touched his wound as she smiled and said, Don't worry. How could I possibly hurt you? Lu Jiao blushed and stared in surprise at her actions. Stop it. He reached out to stop her, but a scholar can be killed, but not humiliated. I won't. Suddenly, his gaze fell on the ointment on Lam Tan Vu's fingertips. She was applying medicine to his wound. Lam Tan Vu glanced at him and asked indifferently, what else? Lu Jiao, embarrassed and ashamed, didn't dare look at her. Damn it, what am I thinking? Flustered and angry, he looked at her and blurted out, Get off. I am a man. How can you do this to me? Lam Tan Vu glanced at him, her brow furrowed. Your wound is this serious. If it's not treated in time, what if you can't know that anymore? What man? She impatiently got off him. So troublesome. You think I'm interested? All right, I'm done applying the medicine. Lu Jiao looked at her with a frown, a hint of unwillingness in his eyes. He reached out, flipped over, and pinned her down on the bed. I'll prove to you whether I'm a man or not. Lam Tan Vu's face flushed crimson, her mouth agape in astonishment as she stared at him. His body was so hot. Lu Jiao lowered his head. The fragrance emanating from her body made him blush even more. So fragrant. I can't take it anymore. Lam Tan Vu looked at him angrily. Don't tell me you've been hit with some legendary aphrodisiac. Get off me. Lu Jiao grabbed her chin, his face drawing close. That it's too late now. She cursed inwardly. Damn it, I miscalculated. She angrily slammed her forehead against his and quickly fled. Zheng Hai, help. A while later, a scowling Lam Tan Vu helped Shi bathe. Shi looked at her worriedly and asked, Sister, are you angry? I can learn to bathe myself. Sister, please don't abandon us. Even though Xiao Tao always bathed me before. Lam Tan Vu's face darkened as she dumped a ladle of water over the boy's head. Her voice tight. It's nothing. At least you're not repaying kindness with resentment. Sure, he choked on the water and coughed violently. Only then did she react, flustered. I'm sorry. I lost my composure. She brushed the boy's hair aside, her face surprised. You're this adorable. Sure, he shyly lowered his head. He took a deep breath, then stood up and wrapped his arms around her waist. Lam Tan Vu looked at him in surprise and asked, Why did you suddenly stand up? Sit down. Sure, he clung to her, acting spoiled. Sister, do you want Sure Yi to be on him? Lam Tan Vu looked at him, confused. London. She quickly covered Sure Yi's mouth. Lunton, what? Where did you learn such words, you little rascal? Sure, he lowered his head, his face sorrowful, tears welling up. Actually, my family was harmed by villains. My parents are both gone. Older brother Lu Jiao is the son of my father's friend. He helped me escape. Those people with torches searched everywhere for Sure Yi and Lu Jiao. Search for me. Find them. Don't leave anyone alive. The henchman next to him gave a lewd smile. Boss, those two brats have tender skin and flesh. Selling them as rental could fetch a good sum. Lu Jiao held shirt hiding under a bush. They're pursuing us relentlessly, and they even want to sell us as Lung. That's why I deliberately disguised myself like this. But we definitely won't implicate sister. Sister, please take good care of brother Lu Jiao. If anything happens, just hand me over. Lam Tanvu looked at the boy, his face pale and his body stiff. Harmed by villains, parents deceased. She recalled the scene of her family's massacre. Your father died at sea, all because of a jinx like you who cursed your father to death. Your daughter has been removed from the family register. You two, mother and daughter, stop acting like ladies. The boat capsized, blood staining the sea red. A sword pierced through her father's chest. After Lam Tanvu's father died, those people leered at her and her mother. What independence? Sooner or later, you'll end up as prostitutes. Might as well let us have some fun. Lam Tanvu's mother trembled with rage. Shut up. She was choked by her uncle, struggling to speak. Uncle. Her uncle tightened his grip, snarling furiously. Wanting justice for your father? I think you're tired of living. Lam Tanvu's face paled, her eyes filled with anger. Seeing her answer wasn't right. Sure, anxiously asked, Sister, why does your face look so bad? Did I say something wrong? Lam Tanvu took the boy's hand, her expression resolute that don't worry. If I've saved you, I won't abandon you, no matter what. I absolutely won't let those people have their way. Sure, looked at her with surprised joy. Really? Lam Tanvu smiled and nodded. Once I've repaired the boat, I'll take you out to sea. Then, your enemies won't be able to find you. Sure, smiled gratefully. Thank you, sister. Lam Tanvu stroked her chin, smiling. But you'll have to help me with the work on the boat. It just so happens we're short-handed. It'd be a waste not to use free labor. Hearing this, Shiyi's eyes lit up, of course. My brother and I will work hard. Besides, my brother is also sister's husband-to-be. Lam Tanvu crossed her arms, feigning annoyance. I don't want that immoral man who doesn't observe proper etiquette as a husband. Just then, a loud shout came from outside. Miss! Zheng Hai burst through the door, looking panicked. Boss Ding has had an accident. Lam Tanvu turned around in surprise. What? Go find old Ding. At the Ding residence, old Ding had been ambushed and injured. If Miss goes there now, I'm afraid she'll be inviting trouble. It's too dangerous. Zheng Hai hurriedly stopped her. Old Ding also told you not to risk it. Lam Tanvu looked at him anxiously. The attacker could be one of my uncle's men. How can I just stand by and do nothing? The two of them arrived at the Ding residence. Ding Dong Bo's son angrily chased away the harassers. Get out. All of you get out. The three troublemakers, driven outside, muttered angrily. Ding Dong Bo, your legs are crippled. What are you so arrogant about? The man in brown pointed at the Ding residence and shouted, Ding Gong, you should also persuade your foster father to sell the boats to us. Don't let a cripple like him end up fighting with stray dogs for food. Lam Tanvu was stunned. Old Ding's legs are crippled. Ding Dong. Ding Dong Bo's adopted son, sword in hand, glared at them. Shut your mouths and get out of here. The men fearfully retreated. Stop. Our CF family won't let you off. Ding Dong slammed his sword into the ground and angrily snorted. Bastards! Lam Tanvu approached him and asked, what was that all about? Ding Dong looked at her hesitantly and asked, You're Miss Lam. He quickly knelt before her. Miss Lam, I have a favor to ask. Lam Tanvu frowned at him. That we're not master and servant. There's no need for such formalities. Just speak plainly. Inside, Ding Dong Bo lay on the bed and looked at Lam Tanvu. Miss, I, Ding Dong Bo, have wronged you. These people are targeting me. The CF family is worried I'll interfere with their shipping monopoly, so they deliberately harm me. Just now, they even sent men to insult me and try to buy my boats at a low price. I can no longer sail for you. Lam Tanvu looked at him and said softly, Uncle Ding, your health is more important. Ding Dong Bo took her hand, his face full of self-reproach. It's all my fault you can't go to sea. Lam Tanvu smiled calmly at him. Who says I can't go to sea? Ding Dong Bo looked at her in surprise. Lam Tanvu looked at him with a determined expression. Ding Dong wants to be my helmsman. I've decided. Ding Dong looked at Ding Dong Bo and smiled, nodding. Miss has agreed to let me sail to Bala Island to find medicine for father. His legs can definitely be healed. Ding Dong Bo pretended to be angry and looked at him. "You rascal, I told you not to bother Mississippi." Lam Tanvu looked at him seriously. "Don't worry, Uncle Ding. I'm grateful for Ding Dong's help." Ding Dong Bo lay back down on the bed and sighed. "But the CF family has taken all my sailors and sent people to block our ships at the dock." Zheng Hai shouted angrily. "What?" Ding Dong Bo closed his eyes dejectedly. "With a two-pronged attack like this, even if you have a helmsman, how can you go to sea?" The corners of Lam Tan Vu's lips curled up slightly. "Don't worry, leave it all to me." Is the Ding family hiring short-term workers? People rushed to apply upon hearing the news that I'm very strong. I only need 20 a day. I'm stronger than him. Choose me. I know a trade. Do you need a plaster? Zheng Hai looked at the crowd and chuckled awkwardly. Hold on. We need sailors. The crowd stared at him. Sailors? Forget it. They dispersed one by one. Sailors? No way. Let's go. Seeing this, Zheng Hai panicked and quickly shouted, "Don't go. 100 a day." Someone turned around angrily and said, "Going out to sea is a life or death situation, and we're not good swimmers. A few hundred isn't worth it." Zheng Hai pleaded tearfully, "Don't go. Try to negotiate more." Lam Tan Vu, shielded by an umbrella, walked over and said indifferently, "Let's go back." Zheng Hai, with tears in his eyes, ran over. "Miss, I told you picking anyone wouldn't work." Lam Tan Vu said with an impassive face, "They've never sailed a boat before. They don't dare risk it." She looked up at the docks ahead, a thoughtful expression on her face. "If we don't find them here, where will we find them? Old Ding informed me that no sailor in this city dares board our ship." A man stealthily approached, observing the two of them. Lam Tan Vu sighed. "I thought as long as they were big and strong, they could sail. But no amount of money can entice them." The man, chewing on a blade of grass, muttered, "Business opportunity." He walked straight up to Lam Tan Vu. "May I ask, young lady, how much is a lot of money?" Gu To-ai smoothed his hair and looked at her inquiringly. Lam Tan Vu looked up at him. Well, her gaze fell on Gu To-ai's strong muscles, and her face flushed. Focus, she thought. She coughed lightly and asked, "How many men can you bring aboard? What are your requirements?" Gu To-ai pointed to a group of men not far away and said indifferently, 9 in total, all experienced sailors. The monthly wage is at least 6 taels of silver, and we require a 20-tael deposit before boarding. Lam Tan Vu silently observed the group. These men look strong, but they're not ordinary people. If I can't control them, it'll be trouble. Gu To-ai held her umbrella up and asked with a smile, "What's wrong? Don't you agree, young lady?" Lam Tan Vu thought to herself, "No, I can't miss this group." Thinking this, she pulled out a stack of banknotes and handed them to him. "This is the deposit. I'll also lend you 100 taels to buy goods. Selling them overseas will bring in 1,000 taels, and there's a commission upon our safe return. Please, elder brother, be the leader and manage these sailors. You must help me return safely." Gu To-ai briefly held her hand as he took the banknotes. "These banknotes smell good. Aren't you afraid I'll run off with the money, Miss Lam?" Lam Tan Vu looked at him, her cheeks slightly flushed. "If you run, it just means I'm a poor judge of character. Then I'll just have to accept it." Gu To-ai laughed heartily and walked away satisfied. "Ha, not bad, little lady. Gu To-ai, will draw up a contract for you." After he left, Zheng Hai angrily cursed. "Lecher." He hid behind a pillar, his head poking out, and growled, "Next time I see him, I'll definitely deal with him for you, Mississippi." Lam Tan Vu looked at him with disdain. "I'd believe you if you weren't hiding so obviously." Zheng Hai chuckled awkwardly and ran her side. "Hee, his price was too high, wasn't it? Miss, they only have 9 people, but the ship needs 30. Lam Tan Vu closed her eyes and replied indifferently, "I've already found the rest." Zheng Hai looked around curiously. "Where?" Lam Tan Vu pointed towards the bridge ahead. "Over there." On the bridge, 2 guards with whips in hand urged on a group of prisoners. "Move faster, you bunch of good-for-nothings. I said move faster, are you deaf?" The blood-soaked whip lashed out, striking a young man with jade-green hair. What a stubborn wretch. He raised his foot and stepped on the young man. "Later, we'll throw you into the sea. Let's see how stubborn you are then." At this moment, Zheng Hai approached, holding up a large silver ingot. "Please, officer, stop." Lin Tan Vu, shielded by an umbrella, approached the guard and asked, "Excuse me, are these the prisoners being sent to work on the sea wall this year?" The guard looked at Lin Tan Vu and asked, "What business is it of yours, young lady?" He then stepped on a young man with jade-green hair, grinding his foot on his head with an arrogant expression. "Thinking of taking these off my hands? The corners of Lin Tan Vu's lips curled up slightly. I heard the Fong Tan Sea wall has been repaired. I want to buy these men to crew my ship. Is that possible? The guard's face darkened. These are criminals convicted of serious offenses. They can't simply be released. Lin Tan Vu stroked her chin, a cunning smile playing on her lips. Criminals guilty of heinous crimes are perfect for risking their lives at sea with me. Their deaths wouldn't be a loss. One of the guard's underlings muttered to him, "Boss, isn't this just passing the buck? A very hot buck." Lin Tan Vu pulled out a wad of banknotes as a bribe. "This is 100 taels to buy them. The rest will be yours upon my return. You won't be shortchanged." The guard's eyes lit up as he snatched the money deal. "I'll handle the official paperwork." After purchasing the prisoners, Trin Hai looked at Lin Tan Vu with a worried expression. These men are all vicious thugs. Besides buying criminals, what if we're prosecuted? Lin Tan Vu looked at him, the corners of her lips lifting, her voice firm that we won't be. The seawall repairs finished long ago, yet these men haven't been imprisoned. They're gaunt, bruised, and beaten. The guard clearly doesn't want them alive. Just as I suspected, he's more afraid of being exposed, which is why he was so quick to sell them to me. Trin Hai pointed at his own neck, his face pale. "Oh, miss, you're saying someone wants these prisoners eliminated? Doesn't that make it even more dangerous to keep them?" Lin Tan Vu's face remained impassive. "Once we're at sea, who will be able to find them?" The young man with jade green hair climbed to his feet and glanced at her. Lin Tan Vu raised her head, looking straight ahead, a glint in her eyes. "Once they're on the ship, I have ways of subduing them." The Fong then, under Lin Tan Vu's direction, was refurbished. The sailing permit was quickly issued. "Hurry up. If you miss the favorable sailing time, you'll pay for it." For the first few voyages, the cargo consisted of defective goods, along with a few merchants showing off their ships. A man approached Lin Tan Vu and reported, "Miss, the Ta family has dispatched 2 ships to block our path since early morning. I'm afraid they're not just here to mock us." Lin Tan Vu, standing at the bow, looked at the 2 large ships ahead and shouted, "Weigh anchor now." Trin Hai looked at her, frowning. "But it's not the auspicious hour yet." Lin Tan Vu impatiently yelled, "Do as I say." The prisoners exchanged puzzled glances. "Wait, anchor now? But it's not the auspicious hour yet." One of them approached Ko Toai, frowning. "Boss, should we?" Ko Toai stroked his chin, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Don't interfere. Let's watch the show. Trouble's brewing. Let's see how she handles it." Everyone strained to raise the anchor. The young man with jade green hair silently observed. The Fong then weighed anchor. The 2 men on the large ships exchanged sinister grins. "Brother, let's weigh anchor too." What a coincidence, us two. The anchors on the large ships were dropped. The 2 men smirked cruelly. "Ram this side." Trin Hai, his face ashen, looked at Lin Tan Vu. "Miss, they're going to ram us." Lin Tan Vu narrowed her eyes, her voice reassuring. "Calm down. I knew the Ta family wouldn't let us sail peacefully." Trin Hai clutched his head, collapsing to the deck in a panic. "Their ships are so big. If they hit us, we'll sink and die. What are we going to do?" One of the underlings looked at Ko Toai and asked, "Boss, this boat isn't going to sink, is it?" Ko Toai clutched his chest, his expression calm. We're still at the dock. What's there to be afraid of? Let's see what the little captain does first." Zhang Hai clung to the mast and yelled, "Miss, should we abandon ship now?" The 2 men on the larger ships bearing down on Lin Tan Vu's small boat laughed loudly. "Ha, the little girl is frozen stiff. Never seen a ship as big as ours, have you? Only the CF family could afford 2 of these behemoths at once." On the small boat, the prisoners ran around in fear. "It's no good. The boat's going to sink. Run. Damn it, I can't get these shackles off." Lin Tan Vu suddenly had an idea. She turned and shouted at the men, "Quickly, stop, drop anchor, pull in the oars." Zheng Hai stared at her in disbelief. "What?" Lin Tan Vu cracked her whip at the fleeing prisoners. "If you want to live, listen to me." The terrified prisoners quickly replied, "Yes, yes." The young man with jade green hair hauled up the anchor. Ko Toai, pulling on the sail, smirked. "Interesting." The anchor was dropped. Zheng Hai yelled anxiously, "Miss, if we don't run now, it'll be too late." Lin Tan Vu watched the sail being hoisted, her expression calm. "Don't worry, I have a plan." The 2 men on the larger ships saw this and sneered. "Dropping anchor? Are you begging for mercy?" "Ha! If the little lady agrees to come aboard and entertain the brothers, we might just let you live." The corner of Lin Tan Vu's mouth twitched upwards, her voice cold. "It's you who should be begging for mercy." One of the men roared angrily. "Ram them." The 2 large ships closed in, the waves churning. On the larger ships, anxious shouts rang out that something's wrong. Why isn't the ship responding? Lin Tanvu stood to the side, a smile playing on her lips as she watched the scene unfold. The closer the two large ships got, the faster the water flowed between them and the lower the pressure became. Panic cries rose from the two large ships. We're about to hit the other ship. It's a current. How can there be such a strong current so close to the harbor? Row, get us out of here. It's no use. The current's too strong. Too strong. Lin Tanvu raised a hand to shield her eyes from the wind, her expression serene. The external pressure would force the two large ships together. They would continue to be drawn closer and closer. The man in the blue robe on the larger ship stared at her in stunned fury. It's you. You use sorcery. The man in green looked at her, weeping and pleading that I was wrong. Please spare us. Lin Tanvu looked at them, her voice cold and indifferent. The pressure won't listen to me. It will only grow stronger. With a tremendous crash, the two large ships collided. Lin Tanvu tossed her hair, a cold smile on her face. No one will stop me from sailing. Bernoulli's principle. If the flow between two ships is fast, the pressure is low, and the two ships will be forced together. Lin Tanvu pointed at the crew and ordered, set sail. A while later, in a small cabin, Lo Dao looked gratefully at Lin Tanvu. Thank you for your kindness, but Lin Tanvu sat by the bed, spooning soup to him, and replied softly, no buts. Eat this for me. You haven't eaten anything in days. Lo Dao coughed weakly, soup dribbling from the corner of his mouth. His breathing was labored, that I'm just a little seasick. Don't waste such good food on me. Lo Dao lowered his eyes, his face filled with self-reproach. You faced danger, and I couldn't do anything. I don't deserve to be treated like this. Lin Tanvu looked at him and asked, have you given up on yourself? She stood up, placing the bowl of soup on the table, her voice indifferent. There are more than 20 hardened criminals out there, their minds unreadable, looking at me like starving tigers. If you want to help me like that, then drink this restorative soup and recover quickly. Having said that, she opened the door and went out. Lo Dao hurriedly lifted the blanket, got out of bed, and looked at her, asking, help you with what? I only reluctantly agreed, because you saved us. He rushed out after her, but there wasn't a soul outside. Lo Dao leaned against the door, his brow furrowed. Next time, I definitely have to make things clear with her. Even if it's for sure I have to recover quickly. It's just a bowl of soup. He turned back to the room, but the bowl of soup on the table had vanished. Where's the soup? While Lo Dao was still puzzled, on the floor, a person dressed in black was leisurely drinking the soup. Meanwhile, Lin Tanvu sat in front of the mirror, removing her jewelry. Zheng Hai stood behind her, reporting this. Rest assured, those people seem quite docile. You exerted yourself using magic today, so don't worry about them anymore. Prioritize rest and nourishment. Lin Tanvu took off her earrings and said helplessly, I told you I didn't use magic. All right, leave it there. I want to bathe. Zheng Hai held the plate of snacks and replied with a smile. Yes. Whatever Miss says is right. He placed the snacks on the table and quickly went out. With no one left in the room, Lin Tanvu began to undress. Bathing on a boat is quite inconvenient. Moreover, there are a bunch of men around. Her clothes fell to the floor, and she reached around her neck to untie her undergarment. Taking off my innerwear is the most comfortable. Suddenly, a hand reached out from somewhere and took the plate of snacks from the table. Just at this moment, Lin Tanvu turned around. Right, I need to tie my hair up first. Seeing a stranger suddenly appear in her room, Lin Tanvu clutched her chest and screamed in fright. The man in black, his eyes blood red, held the snacks and looked at her with a bewildered expression. Lin Tanvu, clutching her chest, yelled, Lo Dao. The man in black quickly covered her mouth. At this moment, Lo Dao rushed in from outside, panicked at what's wrong. On the bed, Lin Tanvu, completely naked, frowned at the man in black who was pinning her down. Her whole body stiffened. The man in black pressed a small knife against her waist. Helpless, Lin Tanvu spoke to Lo Dao outside. It's nothing. I just saw a cockroach. Lo Dao, standing outside, looked at the half-eaten snack and asked with a frown, just a cockroach. Lin Tanvu poked her head out, her face flushed with anger, and yelled, what else would it be? Lo Dao, unconvinced, slightly lifted the curtain that you're not the type of lady to scream like that over something. Like this. Under the covers, the man in black pressed the knife against Lin Tanvu's waist and threatened, stop him. Lin Tanvu's whole body trembled. Lo Dao asked worriedly, what's wrong? Is something the matter? Lin Tanvu closed her eyes and yelled angrily, I'm not dressed. I was about to bathe. Don't need to spell it out. Embarrassed, Lo Dao quickly covered his face. I'm sorry, I'll go out right now. Saying that, he hurried out. Inside, Lin Tan Vu glared angrily at the man in black and asked, "How long are you going to take advantage of this situation?" The man in black frowned at her. "Take advantage? With your looks, I'm the one being taken advantage of." Lin Tan Vu angrily kicked the man in the groin. The man in black collapsed, his whole body trembling. Lin Tan Vu dressed and sat back on the bed. Holding a small knife, she gave a dark smile as she looked at him. She sat down, pointed the knife at his throat, and asked coldly, "Who are you? What are you doing on my ship? Speak, or I won't be polite." The man sat up and replied indifferently, "What else?" "Hitching a ride." Lin Tan Vu looked at him, puzzled. If you wanted to ride along, why sneak around? You could have just paid 50 taels of silver. She suddenly smiled slyly. "You don't have any money, do you?" "Penniless." The man in black, his sore spot hit, flushed with anger. "Who says I don't have money? I'm Yin San, the top assassin in the Jianghu. Hiring me to kill someone costs 5,000 gold pieces. You just find a target, and I'll kill them for you." Lin Tan Vu smiled craftily, like a devil. "Oh, so you're that formidable." Yin San looked up at her, frowning. "What do you want?" Lin Tan Vu lowered her head and looked directly into his eyes. "That I don't need you to kill anyone. I want you to protect me." Yin San's eyes flickered, and then he nodded in agreement. "All right." Seeing him agree so readily, Lin Tan Vu pulled out a thick contract. "This is the agreement. If I lose even a single hair, you'll compensate me 5,000 gold pieces. That way, I won't have to worry about those convicts on the ship anymore." Yin San stared at the lengthy contract, his jaw dropping in astonishment. "Swindler." He grabbed her wrist, the one holding the knife. The knife fell from Lin Tan Vu's hand. Yin San caught it, his cheeks flushing slightly. "I don't think you can actually fight me. The first requirement for me protecting you is that Shorty doesn't play with knives." Lin Tan Vu fumed, raising her hand to hit him. "Who are you calling Shorty? Who?" Yin San nimbly dodged. He stuck out his tongue, teasing her. "Whoever takes offense." Late at night, Lin Tan Vu stood alone on the deck, looking pensively at the vast sea. Yin San clearly wouldn't be controlled by her, so why did he accept her conditions? What was his real reason for being on the ship? Suddenly, a vile voice echoed from a cabin. "Yang Zhao, your brother has desired your tender flesh for a long time." Lin Tan Vu cautiously approached the room. Inside, two slave traders wore lecherous expressions. "Did you ever think, back when you punished us brothers, that this day would come? From the first time I saw you, brother, I wanted to do this." One of them grabbed Yang Zhao and pinned him to the ground, eagerly urging, "Boss, hurry up, I'm itching for this too." Hearing this, the boss laughed loudly, assuring him, "Don't worry, this kid's skin is exquisite, guaranteed to make you happy." Lin Tan Vu, standing outside, witnessed this scene, her face cold. These bastards. No wonder the ship's doctor told her Yang Zhao's injuries weren't healing well. Yang Zhao inside saw her and shouted, "Don't come in." Hearing this, Lin Tan Vu stopped. He didn't want her to save him. The two slave traders pressed Yang Zhao down, laughing lewdly. "Slut, you can't wait either, can you?" Yang Zhao, lying on the ground, glared at them angrily. "That you're going back on your word?" One of them leered at him. "Of course. But if you're obedient, we'll naturally spare your two subordinates." Lin Tan Vu's face darkened. He was being forced to submit to protect others. With this thought, she pushed open the door and stepped inside. "Stop. What are you doing in the middle of the night?" The two slaves turned their heads, and their eyes lit up when they saw her. "Oh, it's the head of the family. What's up? You want to try too?" The head of the family is also pent up. "Missing men, are you?" "Perfect compared to that tall, dark, and smelly guy. I prefer women." Lin Tan Vu narrowed her eyes, her face cold. "You still know I'm the head of the family? Aren't you afraid I'll have you thrown overboard?" The leader rubbed his wrist and walked towards her. "Be smart, girl. In the dead of night, who throws who overboard is uncertain." Lin Tan Vu sneered at him. "That I discovered your despicable schemes long ago. It seems you're not even bothering to pretend anymore." The leader gave a sinister laugh and raised his hand. "It's too late to say that now." He then ordered the two subordinates behind him, "Take care of this woman." Yang Zhao, lying on the ground, looked at Lin Tan Vu with worry. "Run? You're no match for them." The corners of Lin Tan Vu's lips curled slightly. "Yin San, you promised me." As soon as she finished speaking, Yin San appeared. A punch, a kick, and then a sword strike. He looked at the three slaves lying on the ground, his eyes cold. "Next time you go looking for trouble, I won't help you." Lin Tan Vu looked at him indifferently and replied, "We'll talk about next time later. Help me pull them up first." Yang Zhao let out a breath and sat up from the ground, holding a stick in his hand. The next morning, two slaves were tied up and standing at the edge of the ship, screaming in fear. "Ah, help, help, someone's here." At this moment, someone ran over and said anxiously, "Brother Erhu, I'm here to save you." Yinsen narrowed his eyes and kicked him. "Shut up." Lin Tan Vu crossed her arms and looked at the crowd with cold eyes that let's see who dares to save them. Chun Er and Husin tried to kill me and seize the ship, but I've already subdued them. According to the rules, these three will be thrown overboard today. The slaves, who had been about to rush forward to save them, shouted angrily when they heard her words. "You're lying. What's seizing the ship?" Brother Erhu and the others were clearly looking for that kid. Yang Zhao. Lin Tan Vu raised an eyebrow and looked back at him, asking, "So what? You were all bought by me. If I want you dead, you don't get to live." She drew her sword and cut the ropes holding the three men. I am the law on this ship. The three men fell into the sea, screaming in terror. "Mercy!" The other slaves watched this scene in fear. Those who had wanted to rescue them collapsed to the ground in terror. Brother Erhu. Lin Tan Vu swept her gaze over each of them, her voice cold with warning. "Oh, your job's well. As long as we return safely this time, you'll all get your share of the profits. But if you dare to cause any more trouble, they will be your fate." After saying this, she walked upstairs. The terrified slaves replied in low voices, "Yes, yes." At this moment, someone came over and looked at the slave who had wanted to rescue the others, saying with a smile, "Lao Hu, let's have a talk." Yang Zhao, covered in wounds, lay on the bed. Lin Tanvu looked at him and asked, "Your name is Yang Zhao?" Yang Zhao replied softly, "Mm." She pressed her hand on his back and said indifferently, "Stay still, don't move." Yang Zhao blushed and said embarrassedly, "Miss, you can't." Lin Tanvu brushed his hair aside, her voice indifferent. "This is the soul-chasing 18 needles that Yin San mentioned." Yang Zhao cried out in pain. Lin Tanvu looked at him and quickly explained, This is a secret martial arts technique. The person who's been needled can't circulate their internal energy. Otherwise, it'll be like skinning and tendon pulling, even leading to severed meridians and death. You just forcibly pulled out the needles to save me." Yang Zhao looked at her with a serious expression. "Miss, you were in danger because of me. Saving you was what I should do." Lin Tanvu bent down to carefully examine the needles on him, and oh wonder some of them were sticking out a bit. Yang Zhao blushed and stammered, "Miss, you mustn't." Suddenly, a loud shout came from outside. "Tang family, someone's trying to seize the ship." Luo Dao rushed in, panicked, and looked at Lin Tanvu with worry. "Are you all right? I just came in and saw you being intimate with someone else." Luo Dao's face darkened, his expression turning angry. Lin Tanvu looked up at him and explained awkwardly, "Teach, that's not what you think." Luo Dao looked at her with a gloomy expression. "The Tang family has quite the refined taste. It seems I came a bad time." Lin Tanvu said helplessly, "Listen to my explanation." Luo Dao turned and left angrily. "I've disturbed you." Lin Tanvu hurried after him. "Wait, it's not what you think. I was just saving him." Yang Zhao coughed slightly from the bed and looked at Luo Dao, explaining, "Brother Luo, don't be angry. There's nothing improper between Miss Tang and me." He raised his head and looked directly into Luo Dao's eyes. "If I were as fortunate as Brother Luo to travel with Miss Tang, I wouldn't dare to be so blindly jealous." Luo Dao gritted his teeth angrily. "Too bad you don't have that kind of luck." Lin Tanvu stood between them, frowning. "Why does this feel like a death match?" She stood blocking the two of them and said helplessly, "Stop arguing, stop arguing. I have important matters for you to attend to." A moment later, Luo Dao carefully removed the needle from Yang Zhao's back. "Bear with it." Yang Zhao trembled slightly, his face pale. With the 3 needles removed, Luo Dao said softly, "They're out." "You didn't make a sound while having the soul-chasing 18 needles removed. I'll say you have some fortitude. Are you really not stopping at Jiaoji, but going directly to Barus?" Lin Tanvu sat down beside the bed and carefully wiped the sweat from Yang Zhao's brow. "The medicine that old Ding needs is only available in Barus. Moreover, the cheap goods we're carrying won't sell at the larger ports. We can only sell them further inland." Luo Dao looked at her, frowning, but continuing to sail. "I'm afraid some people's ambitions will grow." She looked up at him, her gaze firm. "That's exactly what I want. Don't worry, I have you all." Yang Zhao, lying on the bed, looked at her and softly hummed in agreement. Luo Dao also looked at her, slightly embarrassed. "Still, it's best to be cautious." Late at night, "Did you hear all that? That woman really isn't stopping at Jiaoji." The slaves looked at each other, smiling and scheming. That's right. She wants to go directly to Barus. We were planning to jump ship at Jiaoji. Now, it seems we'll have to go to that remote, mountainous Barus. The wind's picking up. Looks like a storm's coming. We need to make plans soon. I don't want to go to Barus. All right, I have a suggestion. Late at night, the wind picked up strongly. Not good. Something's happening. Miss Tang, come quickly. Gu Sui calmly adjusted the sails. Stay calm. Yang Zhao also looked at Zheng Shi, urging him, Zheng Shi, check the sails. Lin Tanvu calmly assessed the situation and gave orders. Luo Dao, Gu Sui, and Yang Zhao, check the oars. Shifang, go below deck. The rest of you follow my commands. Everyone responded in unison. Yes. Lin Tanvu pursed her lips, sniffing the faint scent in the air. This is the smell of sulfur. Zheng Shi shouted worriedly. This isn't good. Miss, the sail's rigging has been sabotaged. The mast and foresail will surely collapse in strong winds. Gu Sui, standing at the gunwale, frowned. The oars have been thrown overboard. Lin Tanvu, furious, her face cold, snapped. What? I suspected they were planning something. I didn't expect this. She glared at the others and asked, where's Lao Hu and his men? Luo Dao pointed towards the open sea and yelled, they're over there. The slaves had stolen a few small boats and were rowing away. Seeing Lin Tanvu and her companions fuming, they laughed triumphantly. Haha, you're finished. Wait here to die in the storm tonight. This is what happens when you offend the Xie family. Lin Tanvu lowered her head and chuckled coldly. Ha. We'll see who dies. The large ship tossed in the waves. She calmly directed everyone. Everyone hold steady. Lower the sails. Gu Sui and Luo Dao strained at the sail lines, frowning that it's no use. The sail is jammed. If this continues, the ship will capsize. Lin Tanvu coldly ordered Yen San. Yen San cut down the mast. Yen San didn't hesitate to follow her order. Knife in hand, he looked at her smugly. How about that? Pretty cool, huh? He'd barely finished speaking when he was kicked into the sea. Lin Tanvu looked at his sputtering form. Yes, very cool. Yen San surfaced, spitting out seawater, too embarrassed to look at her. Pull me up. Lin Tanvu threw down a rope to rescue him. Hold on, I'll get you. Suddenly, her eyes narrowed. Not good. This is... Lin Tanvu jumped into the sea. Underwater, Yen San frowned, looking at his hand. Why is the water so hot? This isn't right. This isn't water. He looked up, his face a mixture of shock and alarm. That it's a superstorm. Get out of here. Lin Tanvu swam to his side and shouted, Yen San, come over here. Give me your hand. Yen San didn't take her hand, shouting anxiously, you go first. Leave me. Lin Tanvu angrily grabbed his hand. Shut up. Don't waste time. You still owe me. She called out, Luo Dao, save him. Luo Dao, without a word, threw down a rope to the two of them. Quick, grab the rope. I'll pull you up. Lin Tanvu gripped the rope tightly. Halfway up, the rope snapped, and Lin Tanvu crashed back down into the waves. Luo Dao cried out in alarm. Miss Lin. Gu Sui, Luo Dao, and Yang Zhao immediately jumped into the sea to rescue her. Save her. Lin Tanvu was unconscious, her mind hazy. So thirsty. Yen San cut his wrist, letting his blood drip into her mouth. What is this? It tastes bitter. Yen San held Lin Tanvu up so she could drink his blood. By now, Lin Tanvu had regained consciousness. She pushed him away in alarm. You. Yen San, what are you doing? Yen San held up his hands helplessly, just giving you water. We're in dire straits now. Are you still going to complain? Lin Tanvu looked around, her brow furrowed. This is the lifeboat, Gu Sui said flatly from the side. That day, the superstorm hit suddenly. The Fengshan was almost destroyed. We could only escape to the lifeboat. Lin Tanvu looked at him with concern. Ji Sui, you're injured. Yen San frowned and said coldly, not just him. All those fools on your ship risked their lives to save you. How could they not be injured? Gu Sui looked at him, eyebrows slightly raised. Going to sea, how can we not encounter the Tang family? Besides, didn't Brother Yin just offer blood as well? Yen San, angered, quickly covered his mouth, his face darkening to oh, you want to die. Lin Qingwu looked at the two and asked, where are Luo Dao and the others? Gu Sui pushed Yen San's hand away and looked at her, replying, Tang family, you've been unconscious for 4 or 5 days. Our supplies have run out. They decided to risk leaving the cabin to assess the situation. Lin Qingwu's face paled upon hearing this. What? No, we must find them quickly. Yen San hurriedly stopped her, trying to reassure her, don't worry, the storm has stopped. Lin Qingwu anxiously said, that wasn't a storm, it was an underwater volcanic eruption. It could erupt again at any time within the next few days. A volcanic eruption is when things like lava erupt from the crater in a short period of time. Gu Sui and Yin Sen looked at her in surprise. An underwater volcano. At this moment, a loud shout came from outside. Miss! Miss! They've appeared! Lin Qingwu turned her head, her expression worried. Could the volcano be erupting again? On the deck, the sky was clear. Luo Dao looked at her and smiled. Don't be afraid, miss. It's good news. Lin Qingwu frowned and asked, what good news? Luo Dao embraced her and pointed into the distance. Look, miss, we've sighted land. Lin Qingwu followed his gaze, her face lighting up with excitement. It really is land. We can finally go ashore. Cheers of joy erupted from everyone on the large boat. I'm starving. Let's get ashore and find something to eat. Gu Sui carefully helped her off the boat. As Lin Qingwu walked, she reminded everyone, be careful when disembarking. Watch out for coral and marine life. Zheng Shi, walking ahead, smiled and said, don't worry, miss. We're tough. We'll be fine. Lin Qingwu was startled when Gu Sui suddenly lifted her into his arms. What are you doing carrying me? Gu Sui said indifferently, his expression unchanged. Didn't you say to be careful of the coral and marine life? Upon reaching the island, Zhang Shi excitedly ran towards some coconut trees. Let's have some coconuts first. Yin San, observing the surroundings, said coldly, coconuts won't fill us up. Let's keep moving and find more food. Gu Sui helped Lin Qingwu sit down. He held a strand of her hair, his expression gentle. Tang family, rest for a while. I'll find you some food later. Lin Qingwu closed her eyes and softly replied, I'll take a nap under the tree. Don't go too far. Her eyelids felt heavy. Gu Sui smiled and stroked her head. Don't worry, I wouldn't dream of going far. A while later, Lin Qingwu slowly opened her eyes. Where is everyone? Where did they all go? She looked down dejectedly. They didn't just abandon me, did they? Men's words are truly like slippery eels. Lin Qingwu pushed herself up and even if the others ran, Zhang Shi wouldn't betray me, would he? Suddenly, a loud cry echoed from deep within the forest. Help! Hearing this, her face paled. It's Zhang Shi. Something's happened to them. She quickly ran into the forest, her face darkening as she looked at the trees and grass before her. Agarwood, cashew resin, rosewood. Why are there only strange and poisonous plants here? Could it be they abandoned me to collect these things and make money? Lin Qingwu raised her hand to brush aside the undergrowth and stared in surprise. At the large cliff in front of her, a dead end. Where are they? From below the cliff came a desperate CRY.IS. Anyone there? Help! Zheng Shi, Lu Jiao, and Shi Yi were hanging precariously from a tree branch halfway up a cliff face. Lin Qingwu stood above, staring down at them in astonishment. It was them. How did they end up hanging from a tree? There are handholds and bushes. You could climb up. Why are you just huddled there? She paused, her expression darkening. Wait a minute. Lu Jiao looked up and shouted, Miss, don't come over here. Run. Zheng Shi, pale with fear, added anxiously, there are snakes. Leave quickly. Lin Qingwu saw the snakes below and screamed, snakes. Trembling, she crawled back from the edge. Lu Jiao and the others watched her with concern. Miss, be careful. It's coming again. A large snake slithered closer. Then a leopard suddenly appeared. The hanging men were terrified. Miss, run. There's a leopard. The large leopard leaped onto the unsuspecting black snake, sinking its teeth into its body. The two animals grappled fiercely. Shi Yi, perched in the tree, urgently called out to her, Miss, while they're fighting, go. Lu Jiao, clinging desperately to the branch, his voice strained, added, we've been bitten by the snakes. We can't use our strength. You can't save us. Lin Qingwu lay on the cliff top, her brow furrowed. Even if I survive, I can't get off this island alone. I have to think of a way to save them. Shi Yi shifted precariously in the tree, his expression changing. Lin Qingwu cried out, not good. The cliff face is starting to crumble. Lu Jiao lost his grip and tumbled down the cliff. Shi Yi yelled, Lu Jiao. Lin Qingwu screamed, Lu Jiao. As he fell, Lu Jiao looked up and shouted, forget about me. Run. Lin Qingwu's lips pressed together as she watched him fall. Without hesitation, she jumped down after him, her voice firm. You're my husband-to-be. I can't afford to lose you. Lu Jiao's face paled with fear as he saw her jump. Miss, no. Lin Qingwu grabbed a protruding branch, then watched as Lu Jiao landed on the back of the large snake. Seeing him in danger, she didn't hesitate. Here goes nothing. She broke off the branch and plunged the sharp sharp end into the snake's back. Blood spurted out. The large snake thrashed in pain, throwing both Lin Qingwu and Lu Jiao to the ground. Lin Qingwu, lying on the ground, looked at the snake and thought, surely I hit a vital spot on this giant black snake? The black snake's tail whipped around, constricting Lin Qingwu. Her face paled as she struggled. It's not dead, even after I hit its vital spot. Her eyes suddenly landed on a small fleshy growth on the snake's body. What's that? This red lump is strange. One last gamble. I'm going to die anyway. With that thought, Lin Qingwu struggled free and lunged towards the fleshy growth, biting down hard. Ugh, that's disgusting. What did I just swallow? Oh well, consider it snake blood tonic. The large snake stared at her, stunned. Then its body went limp and it collapsed. Lin Qingwu fell to the ground, exhausted. It worked. The thing was definitely what was keeping the snake going. Sure, perched in the tree, cheered excitedly, sister, you're amazing. Lu Jiao is safe. Zheng, she wept with joy. The mist saved us. She defeated the giant snake. He quickly climbed down, looked at her with joy, and said, Miss, you are truly amazing. Gu Sui, carrying the unconscious Yin San on his shoulder, added, Indeed. Yang Zhao angrily slammed his hand against a rock. A bunch of men like us, and we let her face the danger alone. Lin Qingwu looked at the injured leopard lying on the ground and thought, it seems the leopard's attack was about to defeat the giant snake. I just delivered the final blow. She walked over to it and softly said, Thank you. Suddenly, a weak meow was heard. A small leopard cub crawled out from under the larger leopard's belly. Lin Qingwu, surprised, picked up the small white leopard. It's the clouded leopard's cub. It seems the mother leopard was fighting so fiercely to protect her child. The little leopard licked her face. Lin Qingwu giggled. Stop licking, it's dirty. How about you come with me? What should I name you? Yang Zhao rushed over, looking at her with concern. Miss, Gu Sui, with Yin Sen still on his shoulder, looked at her and asked, Are you all right? Are you injured? She went over to it and softly said, Thank you. Suddenly, a weak meow was heard. A small leopard cub crawled out from under the larger leopard's belly. Lin Qingwu, surprised, picked up the small white leopard cub. It's the clouded leopard's cub. It seems the mother leopard was fighting so fiercely to protect her young. The little leopard licked her face. Lin Qingwu giggled. Stop licking, it's dirty. How about you come with me? What should your name be? Yang Zhao, leading the others, ran over and looked at her with concern. Miss, Gu Sui, carrying Yin San on his shoulder, looked at her and asked, Are you all right? Are you injured? Sure, he ran to the unconscious Lu Jiao's side and anxiously called, Brother Lu Jiao? Brother Lu Jiao. Lu Jiao woke up at this moment. He sat up, his eyes downcast, his expression sorrowful. Miss, sure, he looked at him and quickly said, Miss is all right, Brother Lu Jiao, don't worry. Lin Qingwu, holding the small leopard in her arms, smiled and nodded. I'm fine. I even feel invigorated. She looked at her hand in surprise. She felt a warm current flowing through her body, stimulating her blood circulation wherever it went. Could it be from swallowing that thing earlier? Zhang, she suddenly screamed in terror. Ah, miss. Snake. The snakes are back. Yang Zhao stood in front of her, his brow furrowed. Not good. Everyone, be careful and hide behind me. Lu Jiao frowned, his expression worried. So many snakes. Could they be seeking revenge for us killing the large snake? The small snakes slithered closer. Yang Zhao and Lu Jiao stood protectively in front, their expressions serious. We'll cover you. Everyone run. Lin Qingwu gently pushed them aside and stepped forward. No need, because I swallowed that red flesh earlier. I feel a connection with these snakes. Thinking this, she raised her hand and gestured to the snakes. The small snakes immediately formed two lines, creating a path for her in the middle. Just as I guessed, Lu Jiao looked at her in astonishment. Those snakes, they actually submitted to Mississippi. Lin Qingwu looked at everyone and smiled. Don't be afraid. Follow me out of here. Lu Jiao softly replied, yes. As soon as he finished speaking, he collapsed. Lin Qingwu cried out in alarm. Lu Jiao. She rushed to support the unconscious Lu Jiao, her expression filled with worry. What happened? Could his fall have injured his internal organs? At this moment, Yang Zhao also knelt down, his face pale. Miss, it's snake venom. That Yin San provoked the giant snake and lured it to the shore. We tried to lure the snake away from you, but we were poisoned and trapped one after another. He clutched his mouth and coughed up blood. Brother Lu Jiao fell down the cliff and was injured. I'm afraid that accelerated the spread red of the poison. Lin Qingwu suddenly remembered, and her eyes dropped. I almost forgot about the snake venom. The antidote pills on the ship were probably ineffective against this kind of large snake. That's right, there's still that. She quickly ran over and looked at the wound on the snake's body. The Snake King's blood should be effective. It doesn't matter. I'll take a gamble. It's either this or death anyway. Lin Qingwu carefully helped Lu Jiao lie down. Gu Sui, who was leaning against a tree resting, also noticed what was happening. Lin Qingwu bent down and kissed Lu Jiao on the lips, helping him drink the snake blood as an antidote. Lu Jiao's brows furrowed slightly. So soft, Lin Qingwu murmured, seeing that Lu Jiao had finally awakened. She smiled that you're awake. The snake blood really worked. Gu Sui walked over, looking at her with a smile. Really? Then I've been poisoned and need Miss to personally feed me the snake blood. Qingwu glanced at him. You weren't even unconscious. Lu Jiao blushed, his hands flying his face. Was that a kiss just now? Miss truly feels something for me. He looked at her helplessly. Miss, what should we do next? Qingwu's eyes lit up, her gaze greedy as she looked at the large snake. Lu Jiao, now that you're awake, don't be lazy. The whole snake is a treasure trove. Come and help. The more ferocious the beast, the more treasures it hides. With that, she slashed down with her blade. The snake blood is a great tonic. We need to collect more. 2 drops of essence, along with the snake blood, flowed out. Lin Qingwu picked up a drop of essence, curiosity on her face. Hey, what are these 2 red spheres? They look just like the thing I swallowed. Finding 2 of these powerful things, what a score. Lu Jiao, come help. Lu Jiao looked at her, speechless. Perhaps Miss just wants an extra pair of hands, he thought. Finally, Qingwu thought. Late at night, by the seashore, while everyone was sound asleep, she stealthily made her way down to the water, sometimes killing snakes, sometimes climbing the cliffs. I finally waited until all these men were asleep. She looked for a place to bathe. She found a secluded spot and removed her clothes, placing them on the cliff face. Da-da, so refreshing. Even though it's seawater, it's better than nothing. Suddenly, a voice spoke from behind her. Enjoying yourself, miss? Lin Qingwu whirled around in surprise. Who's there? Gu Sui sat on the cliff, holding her clothes. Lin Qingwu stared at him, astonished. Gu Sui, what are you doing here? Gu Sui, still holding her clothes, looked down at her. I heard a noise and came to investigate. I didn't expect such a beautiful sight. Lin Qingwu, naked in the sea, covered her chest with her arms and glared at him. Give me back my clothes. Gu Sui smiled. The head of the family, embarrassed. He dropped her clothes and jumped down from the cliff, draping them over her, kissing a man in broad daylight in front of everyone. I didn't see the head of the family, embarrassed then. Why are you suddenly shy just because I caught you bathing? Could it be that you actually care about that live-in son-in-law? Qingwu blushed. Gu Sui's expression darkened, his eyes narrowing. He's just a live-in son-in-law. Is he worth risking your life for? Lin Qingwu looked at him, confused. What do you mean by that? Gu Sui grasped her chin, tilting her face up. If the head of the family wants a live-in son-in-law, why not consider me? Lin Qingwu stared at him, stunned. Huh. Gu Sui bent down and kissed her neck. Try me, head of the family. Try me, and you'll see. Lin Qingwu pushed him away angrily. Gu Sui. He smiled. Don't be afraid, head of the family. He took her hand and kissed it gently. I'm no worse than that Lu Jiao, in any capacity, in any way. He wrapped his arms around her waist, their hands intertwined. If you agree, I will serve you well. How about it? As he leaned in to kiss her lips, a smirk played on Lin Qingwu's mouth. Fine. I'll let you learn how to serve me. With that, she kicked him hard in the groin. Gu Sui cried out in pain. Ag, that hurts. He clutched his groin, his face contorted in agony. His leg was swelling rapidly. He looked at her with a wounded expression. Oh, you hate me that much? Do you want me to become a eunuch? Lin Qingwu dressed, looked at him coldly and said, I don't hate it. However, whether it's useful or not is up to me. These men are Yang Zhao's subordinates. Something feels off. Listen to me. Gu Sui silently watched her. The next morning, Lin Qingwu observed everyone analyzing the situation. Everyone had explored the island yesterday, and although it's full of rare treasures, there are also many mutated beasts, and it's far from the mainland. So, our priority is to repair the Fengshan and get back on course. Zheng Shi raised a hand, looking at her with a distressed expression. But none of us know how to repair a ship. Suddenly, A voice rang out. Someone does. Yang Zhao gestured towards a man behind him, smiling. These brothers of mine know how to make repairs. Yang Zhao's men smiled sheepishly, rubbing their heads. We're not experts, but for young Master Yang will definitely give it our all. Lin Qingwu frowned at them. These men are Yang Zhao's subordinates. Something feels off. One of Yang Zhao's subordinates smiled, rubbing his hands. This place is full of precious wood, enough to completely renovate the Fengshan. It's just that working on the shore isn't ideal. We need to build a dock in the bay on the other side. Hearing this, Lin Qingwu glared at them angrily. Then go. What are you waiting for? Zheng Shi, Gu Sui, and Yang Zhao glared at Yin San. Boom. We can't handle that task. That's the giant lizard's lair. Yin-San kept wanting to capture one before, and he even led the giant lizard back to our camp. Lu Jiao slapped his forehead in exasperation. Now the giant lizard remembers our scent. Yin-San puffed out his cheeks angrily. Why do you keep saying I wanted to capture it? It's such a huge, poisonous, and colorful treasure. Who wouldn't want to keep one as a pet? Lin Qingwu roared in frustration. Pet my foot. It almost killed us, you know. She sighed helplessly. The highest combat strength, and yet he's so short-sighted. Yang Zhao approached her, smiling. Head of the family, I'll go with you. Lin Qingwu looked at him, surprised. One of the subordinates quickly spoke up, stopping him. Young Master Yang, you mustn't. A precious life must be protected. Lin Qingwu frowned at him. A precious life must be protected. The subordinate, realizing his slip-up, covered his mouth in fear. Oh no, I misspoke. I'm just worried about young Master's frail health. Lin Qingwu smiled at Yang Zhao. Frail health? Does young Master Yang still want to go? Yang Zhao looked at her with a pitiful expression. They're just worried about me. My health has long since recovered. It's nothing to worry about. Hearing this, Lin Qingwu nodded. All right, young Master Yang, let's go. The two of them went to the other bay and looked at the giant lizard before them. Yang Zhao spoke softly to her. This lizard is even bigger than I imagined. We are outnumbered, so we must plan carefully before acting, especially you, head of the family. Absolutely no risks. Seeing her staring at him, he asked curiously, What is it? Why are you looking at me? Lin Qingwu drew her knife and held it close to Yang Zhao's throat, her expression dark. Of course, I want to probe your background. Speak, who are you really? Yang Zhao looked at her with a bewildered expression. What do you mean? Isn't the head of the family here to exterminate the giant lizard? Lin Qingwu's face hardened. That was the original plan, but now I'm more curious about you. You were attacked with the soul-chasing 18 needles. Furthermore, the person beside you called you the son of 1,000 gold. What exactly is your background? Her voice grew colder with each word. Yang Zhao frowned at her. Lin Qingwu snapped coldly. Speak. I won't allow someone with an unclear background on my ship. Yang Zhao sighed helplessly. Young lady, lower your voice. His eyes suddenly narrowed as he saw the giant lizard lunging towards them. Yang Zhao quickly embraced her, shielding her with his body. Young lady, be careful. The lizard's claws raked across his back. Lin Qingwu watched anxiously as Yang Zhao, injured, fell to the ground. Yang Zhao, are you all right? He actually risked his life to save me. Yang Zhao looked at her, his voice weak. Go back and call for help. I can hold it off. Lin Qingwu looked at him worriedly. The snake venom has just worn off. You don't have the strength to deal with it. She sheathed her knife. I suspected you earlier. I apologize. Seeing her stand up with her knife, Yang Zhao asked anxiously, What are you going to do? Lin Qingwu looked at the giant lizard before her, her eyes cold. Deal with it, of course. With that, she charged forward. After consuming the snake pill, she felt a surge of energy within her. Dealing with this monstrous creature shouldn't be difficult. She raised her knife. Suddenly, a small figure darted out and blocked her path. Lin Qingwu stared in surprise at the small, clouded leopard. Wait, that's Xiao Yinbao. Why is it running in front of the giant lizard? She quickly plunged her knife into the giant lizard's head. Red blood spurted out. Xiao Yinbao, watching the blood splatter, lapped it up happily. Lin Qingwu stared at it in astonishment. It wasn't afraid at all. Seeing her fall to the ground, Yang Zhao's face paled. Young lady, are you all right? Watching Xiao Yunbao still happily lapping up the blood, Lin Qingwu shouted anxiously, Xiao Yunbao, it's dangerous. Run away. As the giant lizard's massive claw swiped down, Xiao Yunbao let out a loud roar. The giant lizard's claw stopped in midair. Lin Qingwu stared in disbelief. What's going on? Why did the giant lizard stop? As more giant lizards crawled out from the cave, Yang Zhao cried out in alarm. Not good. Young lady, look, so many lizards. Lin Qingwu stood protectively in front of Yang Zhao, her face grim. Are they planning to attack together? Yang Zhao, seeing this scene, was indignant. Ganging up. Do they even know martial virtue? Wait, it seems like that little clouded leopard called them. Xiao Yunbao sat on the ground, tilting its head back and roaring towards the sky. The giant lizards crawled towards it. Lin Qingwu and Yang Zhao watched in astonishment as Xiao Yunbao approached and drank the blood of the dead giant lizard. The other giant lizards seemed to be offering themselves as food. Xiao Yunbao finished drinking, licked its lips. Then it leaped into Lin Qingwu's arms, roaring affectionately. Xiao Yunbao looked at her, purring happily, and then, frowning, pointed at the dead giant lizard and roared again. Lin Qingwu watched in amazement as the giant lizards crawled away. The giant lizards, they're leaving on their own. Her eyes lit up as she looked at the clouded leopard. You can control them? That's amazing. I haven't even named you yet. Little White. Your name will be Little White. The clouded leopard let out a meow of agreement. Lin Qingwu smiled. From today onwards, you are mine. She looked up and smiled at Yang Zhao beside her. You too. Yang Zhao blushed, looking at her with surprise and emotion. His face reddened as Lin Qingwu's face was so close to his. And mistress, T2 close. Lin Qingwu looked at him curiously and asked, Why? Do you not agree to be mine? Yang Zhao's face flushed crimson. He turned his head away in embarrassment. It's not that. He suddenly winced in pain as his shoulder throbbed. Lin Qingwu quickly supported him. I almost forgot you were injured. Sit down and let me see. She carefully removed his shirt to examine the large scratch on his back. Fortunately, it didn't hit any bones. I brought medicine. Applying it should be fine. She couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Why do I always have to treat men's injuries after time traveling? Lin Qingwu opened the medicine bottle and carefully applied it to Yang Zhao's wound. Don't be so reckless in the future. I don't need my people to trade their lives for mine. Yang Zhao turned his head and took her hand, his expression serious. Mistress, since I have become yours, I can no longer hide anything. I will tell you about my background. Whether you choose to keep me or let me go is up to you. I didn't intend to hide it, but I didn't know how to bring it up. He lowered his eyes and asked her in a low voice, Mistress, have you heard of the Prince Suo case? Lin Qingwu frowned at his words. The Prince Suo case. I think I've heard people mention it. Prince Suo was His Majesty's younger brother, but he was discovered hiding the imperial jade seal. One of his subordinates found evidence in Prince Suo's residence, evidence of treason, and letters revealing a conspiracy to rebel with General Yang. Lin Qingwu paused. Prince Suo's residence and General Yang's entire family were all executed for treason. She looked at Yang Zhao with a surprised expression. Yang, could it be? Yang Zhao lowered his head, his face filled with grief and sorrow. The entire Yang family was loyal, guarding the Blackwater Pass for generations. Yet, they were exterminated for a false accusation. A total of 56 lives were tragically lost. No one was spared. He gritted his teeth in anger. Because I was adopted, I was able to escape death. Lin Qingwu looked at him, her emotions in turmoil. Ew. Yang Zhao's face darkened with anger as he continued through gritted teeth. The Prince Suo case was a conspiracy from beginning to end. I live only to clear the Yang family's name. Prince Suo's wife's older sister is His Majesty's noble consort. One day, the noble consort claimed to have lost the imperial jade seal and asked Prince Suo to help repair it. Prince Suo then sought out a skilled craftsman, but as a result, he was accused by the noble consort's family, and the news reached the emperor. Lin Qingwu frowned at him. A skilled craftsman who could repair the imperial jade seal. Are you referring to those men with you? Yang Zhao nodded. That's right. Those three are the craftsmen who forged the jade seal and were Prince Suo's assistants. With their testimony, I can definitely prove my foster father's innocence. Lin Qingwu closed her eyes and sighed. How could a concubine have such audacity? How could Prince Suo listen to her and touch the imperial jade seal unless His Majesty agreed? One is a prince, the other a general guarding the border. I'm afraid this is going to be a shocking story. Yang Zhao lowered his head, his face grave. The head of the family is indeed very intelligent. The person I need to deal with is truly not simple. Like relatives, he He knelt down and kowtowed before her. Lin Qingwu knew that this matter carried a great responsibility. Head of the family, please pretend you never heard of this. Once the boat is repaired, I will find a way to leave and absolutely not implicate you. She looked at him silently. Yang Zhao looked at her and continued, even if you consider me dead, I will willingly accept it. He gave a faint smile. Lin Qingwu looked at him indifferently and said, whether my people stay or go is up to me. I didn't let you leave, yet you made your own decision. It seems punishment is in order. She then poured the medicine onto his wound. Yang Zhao was stunned, his cheeks flushed with disbelief. Seeing that the wound on his back was no longer bleeding, Lin Qingwu asked coldly, do you know your mistake? Will you dare to leave again? Yang Zhao's face reddened even more. He stammered, I know my mistake. Yang Zhao will never leave the head of the family again. In this life, I will only obey the head of the family's arrangements. I will absolutely be obedient. She lifted his chin and nodded in satisfaction. That's a good boy. Yang Zhao nuzzled his cheek against Lin Qingwu's hand and replied softly, understood, thank you, mistress. Lin Qingwu's face flushed crimson. She quickly withdrew her hand in embarrassment. Just call me head of the family. Don't call me anything else. Was he too innocent or was she too dirty? What was she thinking? Lin Qingwu looked at him and said softly, your matter is my matter. We'll think of a way to get revenge together. Yang Zhao smiled and nodded. All right. She picked up Xiao Yunbao and smiled. The giant divine orchid has run away. Let's hurry back. Xiao Bai, I'll take you home. Xiao Yunbao looked listless and lifeless. She looked at it worriedly and asked, Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Xiao Bai opened one eye, looked at her, and then spat something out. Lin Qingwu looked at it in surprise. Why did you throw up? She picked up the small, round object and examined it. What is this? It was a small, fallen tooth. She held the tooth, her face astonished at a snow leopard's tooth. Her fingertip was slightly bloodied at so sharp, perhaps even sharper than Yin San's sword. Is this a gift for me? I love it. Xiao Yunbao licked the wound on her finger. Yang Zhao pointed towards the glowing sea. Head of the family, look over there. Lin Qingwu curiously followed his gaze. Why is there a red light? Yang Zhao looked at the stones at the bottom of the sea, his brow furrowed. The light seems to be reflecting from below. He reached into the sea and lifted a stone. It's amber. Lin Qingwu also went down and picked up a pile of gems, her eyes shining brightly. This is top-grade blood amber. This whole area below is full of amber. We've struck it rich. Lin Qingwu joyfully hugged Yang Zhao. We've struck it rich this time. One piece of amber is enough for us to live on for years. Yang Zhao hugged her back, smiling and humming in agreement. Lin Qingwu held up a small piece of amber, her face full of excitement. This place is full of precious trees and medicinal herbs. Now there's amber too. It truly is a treasure island. Suddenly, she paused. Wait a minute, these things couldn't all grow in one place. And how could a treasure island like this have never been discovered? Unless... Her face paled. This place is completely closed off. It's not a normal space. Seeing her change in expression, Yang Zhao asked worriedly, Mistress, what's wrong? She grasped his hand, her expression serious. Have any of your crew ever heard of this island? Yang Zhao looked at her and shook his head. Never. Lin Qingwu froze, her lips twitching. After all these years, no one has ever spread any information about this island. Is it because they haven't found it, or because they simply couldn't escape? Lin Qingwu, as if losing her mind, rushed towards the sea. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Yang Zhao, seeing her, quickly reminded her, Mistress, be careful. Large pieces of amber surround the island. Lin Qingwu cried out in despair. Yang Zhao, we might be trapped here. Her face was pale, and she stood dumbfounded. It truly was a special space. Seeing her suddenly faint, Yang Zhao cried out in alarm. Mistress! He rushed to catch her, asking anxiously, Mistress, what's wrong? Are you all right? Lin Qingwu, realizing he was carrying her, felt her cheeks flush involuntarily. Why are you carrying me? Yang Zhao looked at her with concern and said, You just fainted, mistress, and almost fell into the sea. He set her down gently and asked urgently, Are you unwell? Lin Qingwu lowered her eyes and shook her head slightly and, Oh, it's nothing. I was probably just too excited. Her expression became serious, and she worriedly lowered her gaze. This is a serious matter. It's best not to alarm them yet. Noticing Yang Zhao lifting her foot, Lin Qingwu blushed and asked, "What are you doing?" Yang Zhao, holding her foot, replied softly, "Mistress, you've probably been standing for too long. I'll help stimulate the meridians in your calves." Seeing her downcast mood, he offered comfort. "Mistress, no matter what happens, I won't leave your side. So you don't need to shoulder everything yourself." Lin Qingwu looked at him, touched you. Yang Zhao, looking at her foot, said softly, "All right, mistress, you must be cold from being in the sea for so long." Lin Qingwu nodded, "A little, but warming up by the fire will fix that." Yang Zhao rubbed her foot gently and asked, "Perhaps me rubbing it like this will help." Lin Qingwu lowered her eyes and replied softly, "No, there's no need." It felt strange, having never had someone touch the soles of her feet before. Yang Zhao looked up and smiled at her. "Mistress, are you scared?" His lips parted slightly as he gently kissed her knee. Lin Qingwu couldn't help but let out a soft moan. Yang Zhao, holding her foot, chuckled. "Your leg is trembling. Is it because you're so cold?" Lin Qingwu, embarrassed, covered her mouth to stifle any further sounds. "That it's trembling because you're touching me." How could he do such suggestive things with such an innocent face? What a sly one. But he was quite handsome, so perhaps it wasn't so bad. She lifted her leg and placed it on his shoulder, her expression seductive. "It's very cold. Do you want to warm me up?" Yang Zhao leaned down, looking directly into her eyes, utterly willing. He blushed crimson. Lin Qingwu leaned against a rock, thinking to herself, "Unexpectedly, this Yang Zhao is quite good at this. Enjoying this handsome man can be considered compensation for my recent hardships." Her face flushed crimson, her beautiful eyes lowered, and her lips slightly parted as she looked at Yang Zhao. Yen San and the other three worriedly searched for Lin Qingwu. "Family head." Zhang Shi looked at her with concern and asked, "Family head, are you all right?" Seeing them arrive, Lin Qingwu, embarrassed, quickly pushed Yang Zhao away. She looked at the four of them guiltily and stammered, No, I'm fine. Why did you suddenly come here?" Lu Jiao looked at her with a worried expression. "We saw many giant lizards running out over there, and we're worried you wouldn't be able to handle them." Lin Qingwu blushed, embarrassed. "Didn't I say I could handle it? Don't act so rashly next time." Gu Toai rubbed his chin, looking at her knowingly. "Just now, you too." Lin Qingwu raised her head, frowned, and changed the subject. "The giant lizards have already been driven away by you, haven't they?" Yang Zhao, sitting beside her, embarrassedly rubbed his nose. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Lin Qingwu gave instructions. "The vegetation here is lush. Build a shelter first, and then start repairing the boat." Yen San crossed his arms in front of his chest, his expression unhappy. "What's so fun about repairing a boat? I want to go catch a phoenix." Gu Toai, Lu Jiao, and Yang Zhao glared at him with murderous intent. Yen San sighed helplessly. "I haven't provoked any animals yet, have I?" Lin Qingwu placed her hand on his shoulder and said with a smile, "I have another task for you." Yinsen looked at her and asked, "What task? Is it fun?" She smiled at him and said, "I heard that cultivating while rushing into violent tides will make you stronger. Would you agree to take Shi along to cultivate?" Yinsen's martial arts were very advanced, and she felt reassured sending him to explore the edge of the space. Yen San stroked his chin, looking somewhat interested. "Cultivating in the tide seems a bit interesting." Shi pointed at himself in surprise. "Me? Cultivate?" Lu Jiao also looked at the little boy in surprise. Yen San looked at Shi with an unwilling expression. "But I don't bring children along." Shouldn't Shi be following Lu Jiao? Hearing this, Shi became angry. "I don't want to go with you either. Brother Lu Jiao's teaching is the best." Yen San sneered at the boy. "I learn martial arts to kill. Even if you wanted to learn, I wouldn't teach you." Lin Qingwu glared angrily at the two, one big and one small. "Behave yourselves." She sat down and looked at Shi, persuading him gently. "You call me sister. I must take responsibility for you. The sea is extremely dangerous. You must learn to protect yourself and protect me." Shi looked at her dreamily. "Protect sister." Lin Qingwu placed some snake blood essence into the boy's hand. "This is a treasure I obtained from the giant python. It will be very beneficial to your martial arts training." Hearing this, Sure, he quickly shook his head and refused. Such a precious item. I can't. Young lady, you should keep it for yourself. Lin Qingwu smiled gently and patted the boy's head. You are my brother-in-law. Don't be so polite. Sure, he smiled gratefully. Thank you, sister. Having settled she narrowed her eyes and glanced at Yin San behind her. And you still owe me money. You have no right to bargain. Yin San was helpless after being scolded by her. May I leave now? Having settled everything, Lin Qingwu stood up straight. That AS for me. I'm naturally going up the mountain to search for treasures. Of course. Gu Toai stood to one side, directing the group of disciples building the house. The foundation of the house can be a bit higher. It's damp and cold here. The family head is frail, so you must pay attention. The group hurriedly replied in acknowledgement. After instructing the group, Gu Toai went to find Yang Zhao, who was resting with his eyes closed, and said in a certain tone, "You care a lot about her." He sat down, putting his arm around Yang Zhao's shoulder and asking, "Did we interrupt something good between you two just now?" Yang Zhao frowned and shrugged his arm off. "I don't know what you're talking about." Gu Toai looked directly into his eyes and said coldly, "Don't pretend. You're extremely disappointed right now, aren't you? After all, her taste is truly." Yang Zhao angrily grabbed his collar. "Could it be that you and her also?" Gu Toai smiled and raised his hand. "Also? I don't know what you're talking about." Yang Zhao excitedly raised his fist and punched towards Gu Toai's face. His fist stopped just short of Gu Toai's face. "Trying to provoke me into hitting you so you can go to the family head and pretend to be pitiful? A real man wouldn't resort to such underhanded tricks." Gu Toai straightened his collar, his expression calm. "Regardless of the method, as long as it pleases her, it's fine." Yang Zhao grabbed his clothes again and angrily warned, "Stay away from her. She's not someone a man with sinister intentions like you can touch. Even if it costs me my life, I will protect her." Gu Toai curled his lips slightly and looked at him, asking, "Want to make a bet? Let's see which of us can become closer to her first." Seeing Yang Zhao's silence, Gu Toai continued to provoke him. "What? You don't dare to bet with me? That's right. After all, I understand women better than a greenhorn like you." Yang Zhao frowned and glared at him through gritted teeth. "Don't be so smug. The live-in son-in-law acknowledged by the family head isn't you." Gu Toai, unable to retort, pursed his lips, his face darkening. After a moment, he spoke. "Lu Jiao is just her excuse. You've wanted to replace him for a long time, haven't you?" Yang Zhao turned his back, the fist at his side slightly loosening. He turned his head back to glance at Gu Toai behind him and said coldly, "It's none of your business." Meanwhile, Lin Qingwu, with a large bag slung over her shoulder, walked alone deeper into the mountains. There really are more treasures the further up this mountain I go. I should have known better than to pick so many things down below. I really want to know what treasures are at the mountaintop. As she walked, she tripped on a rock and fell backward. "Oh dear." Lu Jiao, following behind, looked at her with concern. "Miss." Lu Jiao quickly ran over to help Lin Qingwu up. She looked at him in surprise. Why was he following her up the mountain? She softly called out Lu Jiao. The two of them, by inertia, tumbled down the mountain slope. A moment later, Lu Jiao held Lin Qingwu tightly in his arms and asked anxiously, "Miss, are you all right?" Lin Qingwu looked up at him and shook her head. "I'm fine." "Lu Jiao, you're injured." Lu Jiao looked at her with gentle eyes. "As long as Miss doesn't blame me for following without permission. Any injury, no matter how severe, is as sweet as honey." She stood up, frowning at him. "Don't say any more. I'll let you follow, all right." Seeing her agreement, Lu Jiao smiled faintly. "As you command." Lin Qingwu sighed inwardly, thinking, hooked again. Poor thing. The two of them continued up the mountain, their faces full of astonishment. This. Looking at the large tree in front of them, the two gaped. "This is truly a fairyland," Lu Jiao said, sitting down beside a pond. "Miss, look quickly. There are so many precious stones in this pond." Lin Qingwu sat down next to him and smiled faintly. "If gemstones of this quality appeared in the outside world, I'm afraid it would lead to a bloody storm." Lu Jiao, hearing this, reached out to pick up a gem. "Then should we pick up a few to take down the mountain?" She quickly stopped him. "Lu Jiao, wait." Seeing her holding his hand, Lu Jiao's face flushed. "Miss, is something the matter with holding my hand?" Lin Qingwu looked at the lines on his hand, her expression darkening. What are these lines on your hand? I've never seen them before. Could it be because you touched a poisonous stone? But I touched them before too. What's going on? Suddenly, a voice rang out. You have a predestined relationship. Lin Qingwu turned around in surprise. There's a voice. Lu Jiao, did you hear that? Lu Jiao, his face flushed with embarrassment, replied, no. What's wrong, miss? The voice continued. You have a predestined relationship. Lin Qingwu frowned and took a few steps forward. Who are you? Are you calling me? The voice continued to echo in her head. You have a predestined relationship. Come here. I'm right in front of you. Seeing Lin Qingwu walking towards the large tree, Lu Jiao hurried after her. Miss, where are you going? Lin Qingwu whispered. It's all right. Lu Jiao looked at her worriedly, miss. Seeing Lu Jiao suddenly freeze, Lin Qingwu looked at him with concern. Lu Jiao, what's wrong? She anxiously asked the voice, what have you done to him? The voice calmly replied, he's fine. I just want to talk to you. Come here. I'm right in front of you. I am a tree of life. Lin Qingwu approached, frowning as she looked around. What's going on? This overwhelming feeling of submission. She stood and looked at the tree of life, asking softly, did you just call me? The tree of life's voice rang out. That's right. Being able to enter this island means you have a predestined relationship with me. The rare treasures here, you can use them within the scope I permit. Lin Qingwu looked at it in surprise. Within the scope you permit, I can use them? Could it be? She glanced at the mark on Lu Jiao's hand. The tree of life's voice echoed. Apart from you, no one else can take anything from this island. Those lines are my warning. Even for you, you shouldn't continue once the lines appear. Lin Qingwu rubbed her chin, lost in thought. Will I also get those lines? It seems the things on this mountain aren't so easy to take. She raised her head and smiled at the tree of life. Then I'll use the rest of my allowance to pick your fruit. The tree of life was enraged, its leaves rustling loudly. Insolent, furious, the tree of life extended a branch, stabbing towards Lin Qingwu. Insolent, you dare disrespect the tree of life. It seems I must punish you. Suddenly, a figure rushed forward, shielding her. The branch pierced through Lu Jiao's chest, blood splattering everywhere. Miss, be careful. Lin Qingwu cried out, her face pale. Lu Jiao. The tree of life retracted its branch and looked at Lu Jiao with a hint of appreciation. You were actually able to break free from my control. Lu Jiao, his face pale, but his expression resolute, looked at the tree of life. That if you want to harm her, you'll have to get through me first. I don't care what kind of divine tree you are. Harming the miss is unacceptable. He took a flame from within himself and held it up towards a protruding branch. I don't care what you are. You're afraid of fire, aren't you? The tree of life pleaded fearfully. Don't, please don't. It relented and picked some fruit, giving them to the two. This is the most I can give. Any more will disrupt the balance of the world. The red fruit extends lifespan. The purple enhances internal strength, and the blue revives the dead. You absolutely must not show these to anyone else, or it will lead to a bloody storm, and my merit will be destroyed in an instant. Lin Qingwu accepted the red fruit and nodded in agreement. Qingdao, the tree of life. The branches glared angrily at the two of them. Now that you have it, get out. I don't want to see you again. Lin Qingwu smiled and thanked it. Thank you very much. Then she offered the red fruit to Lu Jiao. Eat this quickly. It will definitely heal your injuries. Lu Jiao blushed, waving his hands in refusal. Such a precious item. Lin Qingwu leaned closer and asked, or do you want me to feed it to you? Lu Jiao's face flushed crimson. His lips pressed together as he looked at her shyly. He took the red fruit and quickly popped it into his mouth. No need. Lu Jiao swallowed the life fruit with a surprised expression. Cough, cough. As expected of a heavenly treasure. He knelt down, his whole body suddenly burning up. Hot, so hot. No, something's wrong. Could it be that the effect of the red fruit is too potent? Lin Qingwu looked at him with concern. Lu Jiao, what's wrong? Lu Jiao turned to look at her and said hurriedly, Miss, don't come over here. My body is so warm, I really want. Lin Qingwu looked at him curiously. Lu Jiao, could you be? Lu Jiao, embarrassed and flustered, interrupted her. Don't say any more. I'll go calm down a bit. Feeling hot, he jumped into the lake. Lin Qingwu walked over and sat by the edge of the water, smiling as she watched him. Using cold water to solve the problem, truly adapting well. Lu Jiao stood in the water, looking at her helplessly. Isn't it all because of you that? Lin Qingwu looked at him and laughed teasingly. How does it have to do with me? Lu Jiao grabbed her leg and pulled her into the water. Lin Qingwu looked at him, startled. Oh my, Lu Jiao, what are you doing? Lin Qingwu's clothes were pulled down slightly. She blushed and looked at Lu Jiao. Hey, stop it. Lu Jiao leaned against her shoulder and whispered, Miss, help me. Lin Qingwu looked at him, her voice weak. Don't rip my clothes. I don't have many. Lu Jiao kissed her white neck, his hot breath on her skin. Miss, I like you. Lin Qingwu blushed, her brows furrowed. Her clothes were pulled down to her waist. Lu Jiao embraced her waist, thinking, so small, as if she'll break with just a little force. She was clearly a strong and resolute woman on the sea, yet now she showed such an expression beneath him. Lin Qingwu's breath came in ragged gasps. She bit her lip, trying not to make a sound. Lu Jiao held the back of her neck and lowered his head to kiss her lips, wanted her to show more expressions. His hand caressed her slender legs. Lin Qingwu lay on the ground, her eyes closed tight, her fair skin flushed crimson. Lu Jiao looked at her beneath him and whispered, Miss, this time I won't let you go. Lin Qingwu turned over and pinned Lu Jiao down. Couldn't wait any longer. Let me calm down a bit. This miss isn't someone you can conquer so easily. A long while later, Lin Qingwu, soaked to the bone, put her clothes back on. My first time in the water, and it's with this inexperienced guy. Wasn't that a bit much? Blushing furiously, she turned and climbed ashore, leaving Lu Jiao passed out in the water. But the feeling just now wasn't bad. Lin Qingwu, oh Lin Qingwu, you're not normal anymore. At dusk, the two sat by the seashore, watching the sunset. Lin Qingwu gazed at the view. The sunset here is truly beautiful. Lu Jiao stealthily glanced at Lin Qingwu and asked, My lady, what are you thinking about? Lin Qingwu looked out at the distance and replied softly, Nothing, just thinking about how much has happened recently. Lu Jiao looked at her hesitantly. Lin Qingwu looked at him curiously. Lu Jiao looked at her with a serious expression. It's not that I don't want to marry you. I'm just afraid of implicating you. Wait until we get off this island, and I will take responsibility for you. Lin Qingwu gasped in surprise. Take responsibility? I don't actually need. Seeing her disagreement, Lu Jiao looked down sadly. Why, lady, are you disappointed in me? We've already done that. I will definitely marry you. Lin Qingwu pursed her lips, trying to suppress her laughter as she looked at him. This guy doesn't think we've gone all the way, does he? Lu Jiao continued. I'm essentially your house husband now. Lin Qingwu couldn't hold back any longer and burst into laughter. You actually admitted it. Don't think it's for real. Seeing her like this, Lu Jiao became embarrassed and angry that you're the one who said house husband. How can you go back on your word now? At this moment, Yin San, shirtless, approached, smiling and waving at Lin Qingwu. Family head, I've been looking for you everywhere. What are you doing hiding here? Something big has happened. I have a major discovery. Seeing the shirtless Yin San approaching, Lu Jiao quickly blocked Lin Qingwu's view and said angrily, Hey, put some clothes on first. Lin Qingwu asked, What's wrong? What happened? Yin San put his clothes back on, walked up to Lin Qingwu, and frowned. This island is a bit strange. Lin Qingwu frowned, looking at him. He had also discovered the strangeness of this island. Yin San used his internal energy, reaching his hand into the air, and his hand appeared on the opposite side. Family head, look at this. It seems like things can't leave this island. Lin Qingwu was stunned, her expression turning serious. How can that be? Yin San looked at her with a serious expression that if my guess is correct, this island is probably covered by an invisible barrier. Things taken outside are sent back, and things from outside can't get in. Lin Qingwu rubbed her chin, lost in thought. That's it. That's why this treasure island can exist independently from the world, undiscovered. She spoke worriedly. Doesn't that mean we'll be trapped here until we die? Yin San looked at her and said calmly, No, I've found the pattern of this thing. I took Sure E to investigate around the island. This barrier changes with the moon. Full moon, empty. Crescent moon, full. On the night of the full moon, we might be able to leave. Hearing this, Lin Qingwu's face lit up with joy. Really? You've made a great contribution. She excitedly ran over and tried to hug Yin San. This is truly wonderful news. We can finally leave this place. Seeing this, Lu Jiao reached out and clawed at Yin San. Yin San recoiled in fright, seeing Lu Jiao suddenly appear in front of him. Lin Qingwu looked on, confused. Lu Jiao gave Yin San a dark smile. Ahem, brother Yin, why don't you go share this good news with everyone? We should try to repair the boat before the next full moon. Let's get out of here. Yin San's face darkened as he clutched his chest and looked at the two of them. Fine. I won't bother you two anymore. Lin Qingwu frowned at Lu Jiao that don't cause trouble. Lu Jiao looked at her with a wronged expression. You already have me. How can you hug another man? Hearing this, Yin San lowered his head and sighed. The relationship is confirmed then. Late at night in the stone cave, Yin San, shirtless, quietly cultivated. The incurable illness within him seemed to be getting more and more serious. Suddenly, he spat out a large mouthful of blood, unsure how much longer he could hold on. A voice suddenly sounded from outside. So many treasures, if we could transport them back. Big Brother's important matters wouldn't be a worry anymore. Yin San frowned. It was the voice of Zhang Eru, Gu Toai's subordinate. The other two outside were relieving themselves, and the one next to him reminded Zhang, "Oh, don't speak carelessly. Big Brother has said that everything here belongs to the family head. We're hired to do a job, not to covet things that don't belong to us." Yin San put his clothes back on and went to the cliff face to observe the two. It was indeed them. Zhang Eru looked up at the sky and muttered, "She's just a woman. With Big Brother's status, he could casually take her as his wife. She should be grateful and offer everything up with both hands." The person next to him frowned at him. "You're scheming against a young lady? Do you have no shame?" Yin San's hand tightened around his sword. Zhang Eru smiled at the other man and said, "I'm just saying. Do you think if we really could go back, Big Brother would help the family head take revenge?" Zhang Eru frowned at the man beside him. "Don't speak carelessly. If Big Brother hears, he'll break your neck." Hearing this, the other man became angry. "I just can't stand that Big Brother values that girl." Zhang Eru warned him. Big Brother knows his limits. It's not your place to interfere. Yin San narrowed his eyes, his gaze cold. It seemed this Gu Toai couldn't be kept around. He tightened his grip on his sword. Yin San returned to the cave and sighed. "Lin Qingwu, how much longer can I protect you? I don't know what will happen after we return." The next day, the large ship docked near the island. Lin Qingwu stood on the deck, her face full of excitement. The weather and currents were favorable. They had collected a considerable amount of treasure on the island, and the ship was repaired. Today was the full moon, and they could finally leave. Zhang Shi couldn't hide his excitement and cheered. "Great! We can finally go back." Lin Qingwu smiled, her eyes gleaming. "Turn the rudder 35 degrees to the left and set sail." Everyone replied in unison, "Yes, family head." Gu Toai started the ship and they departed. Lu Jiao walked to Lin Qingwu's side and asked, "Family head, where are we going next?" "Back to Dazhou." She smiled and replied, "No, we're not going back to Dazhou. We're close to Tahiti. Many of the islands here produce golden spices. We'll make a trade first before returning." The ship headed toward another small archipelago. Zhang Shi looked at the island in front of him and asked, "Miss, is this the Tahiti you mentioned? There's no one around. Can we really make a trade here?" Lin Qingwu looked down and nodded. "Yes, we can. Moreover, the natives here are an indigenous tribe. Let's go into the forest and take a look. It's too high." "Zhang Shi, help me." Lu Jiao looked at her and asked, "Miss, you want to disembark?" Yang Zhao also spoke up, looking at her. "Family head, how about I?" Gu Toai pushed the two aside and stepped forward. "What are you two dawdling for? Get out of my way." He walked over, embraced Lin Qingwu's waist, and jumped down. "Family head, I'll carry you down." Lin Qingwu looked at him and smiled, saying, "Thanks." Gu Toai replied with a smile that it was nothing, just a small favor. Lu Jiao and Yang Zhao stood behind him, glaring at Gu Toai, that punk. The group continued onto the island. Yin San frowned. "We've been walking for so long. Why haven't we seen any footprints?" Lin Qingwu, looking tired, leaned on her staff as she walked. She looked at the others and reminded them, "Everyone be careful. It's all right if the trade falls through, but we must find fresh water and food supplies. Our ship's stores are running low." Suddenly, a slight noise came from behind them. Yin San turned around alertly Someone's there. He drew his sword and pointed it towards the bushes. Show yourselves, he shouted. The hidden figures exposed, charged out with their swords drawn. That we've been discovered. Attack! Yen-san parried a blow with his sword, his brow furrowed. Kanata, Fusan pirates. Why are there pirates on this island? Lu Jiao and the others stood firm with their swords drawn, facing the pirates. Family head, these men are skilled and numerous. We should return to the ship quickly. Gu Toai dodged a pirate's attack, frowning in disagreement. Abandon the island? No. A fighting retreat will only draw them to the ship. While he was distracted, a pirate slashed Gu Toai's shoulder. Clutching his wounded shoulder, Gu Toai's face paled as he looked at the others. Ship-to-ship combat is a pirate's strength. Yang Zhao's face changed color. Then what do we do? Lin Qingwu, standing behind them, frowned. There are too many pirates. After a moment of thought, she spoke to the group. Hold them off for me. I have a plan. Lin Qingwu grasped Yang Zhao's hand, her expression serious. Take me back to the ship alone. Yang Zhao looked at her in surprise. What? Seeing the two of them attempting to escape, the pirates gave chase with swords drawn. Trying to run? Get them. Lin Qingwu gritted her teeth as she watched them. They had even dispatched a separate group to pursue them. Yang Zhao intercepted a pirate with his sword and yelled back to Lin Qingwu. Family head, I'll hold them off. Run. Lin Qingwu, biting her lip, turned and fled. Just reach the ship. Once I reach the ship, there's a way to save us. Not long after, Yang Zhao was slashed across the chest, his face pale. Ugh. Lin Qingwu looked back and cried out Yang Zhao. Yang Zhao collapsed to the ground, weakly urging, Family. Family head, run. Lin Qingwu ran towards the ship, filled with rage. Wait for me. I'll come back for you. A pirate, sword in hand, sneered at Yang Zhao. Ha! Your master abandoned you. Yang Zhao, clutching his chest, looked at him with unwavering eyes. That I chose this. What business is it of yours? If you want to go after her, you'll have to kill me first. Lin Qingwu ran, tears streaming down her face. Yang Zhao. Elsewhere, Gu Toai and Yin San, covered in wounds, stood back to back, swords in hand, warily watching the pirates. The pirate leader sneered at them. You don't need to stop us. Just hand over the woman and the goods, and we'll let you go. Gu Toai's eyes narrowed. So interested in the family head? Perhaps you're more than just pirates. One of Gu Toai's men behind him looked up with a hopeful expression. He looked at Gu Toai and said hurriedly, Is that true? Boss, we have important matters to attend to. We can't waste time with this girl. Why don't we just hand her over? Gu Toai, enraged, cut the man's throat with his sword. I hate betrayal most of all. Yen San frowned at the scene. Gu Toai turned around and glared angrily at the pirates. This is our attitude. The leader, seeing this, gnashed his teeth. You refuse the toast, you'll drink the forfeit. It seems you want to die. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. He whistled, and the pirates surged forward, surrounding them. The pirates raised their blades. Lin Qingwu shouted angrily. Stop! Seeing that she had returned, the pirate leader ordered his men, It's that girl. She's back. Capture her. Gu Toai looked at her and yelled worriedly, Family head, run. Lin Qingwu shouted at the pirates, Everyone, get down and cover your heads. With that, she threw a small bomb. A loud explosion echoed. Yin San, Gu Toai, and Lu Jiao ducked into a corner, covering their heads. Seeing this, Gu Toai smiled. Fire bombs. So that's what the family head went to get. Explosions rang out in succession, tearing through the pirates. After the explosions subsided, Gu Toai and the others anxiously searched for Lin Qingwu. Family head, where are you? Lin Qingwu coughed a few times and spoke softly. Cough, cough, over here. Gu Toai rushed over and looked at her with concern. Are you all right? Lin Qingwu smiled at him and replied, I'm fine. These are test bombs I made earlier. They're not very powerful. At most, they'll just knock someone unconscious. Gu Toai embraced her and whispered, Don't do anything so dangerous again. Lin Qingwu patted his back indifferently. Didn't you also risk your lives holding back the pirates for me? By the way, I left Yang Zhao to recover over there. Let's bring him back. Gu Toai looked at her unhappily. Can you not mention other men right now? Sometime later, Lin Qingwu carefully bandaged Yang Zhao's wounds. Gu Toai frowned at her and said, I've been scouting. There's a mountain stronghold here, likely a base for these Fusan pirates. Lin Qingwu's brow furrowed. That explains why they had so many reinforcements. Gu Toai held up a letter for her to see. I found this at the barricade. Lin Qingwu took it and quickly opened it, her face paling. This is the mark? Leave no survivors. 5 days from now, the location is Fengshan. Brother Fong, the Lin family fleet will set sail after. The Lin family fleet, the Fengshan. These pirates were responsible for my father and brother's deaths. They were hired. Lin Qingwu clutched the letter, her lips pressed tightly together, tears welling in her eyes. It was true. Her father and brother's deaths were no accident. She gripped the letter, her face filled with rage. It seems it's time to settle this score. Gu Toai looked at the symbol on the letter and asked softly, "Family head, this insignia looks familiar." Lin Qingwu looked at the letter in her hand, her voice cold. "It's the Xie family's insignia." Gu Toai frowned at her and asked, "Did your father have a feud with the Xie family?" She narrowed her eyes and said coldly, "No feud, no grievance. Before, I only knew the Lin family harmed my father and brother. I never expected the Xie family to be involved as well. I will get to the bottom of this." Her expression darkened. Gu Toai looked at her, his eyes downcast. "Unfortunately, I'm afraid I won't be able to seek revenge with you." Seeing the large ship approaching the dock, everyone on the shore gasped in astonishment. Such a huge ship. The Fengshan. Isn't that? The water's deep enough. It must be carrying quite a bit of cargo. Lin Qingwu stood at the bow of the ship, smiling at the dock ahead. "I'm finally back." Gu Toai looked at her, his brow slightly furrowed. "We departed from Guangzhou, and we were supposed to dock in Guangzhou. Now we've arrived in Xuanzhou. The Guangzhou Shipping Company will lose a lot of commission, I'm afraid." Lin Qingwu crossed her arms, her expression calm. "Even if we had landed in Guangzhou, there would be no happy ending." She recalled the scene of their departure and the letter, her eyes turning sharp. The Xie family not only controls the Guangzhou fleet, but also the Guangzhou Shipping Company. Obediently docking in Guangzhou would only let them exploit us completely. Lu Jiao looked at her with a worried expression. "But the Xuanzhou Shipping Company may not be willing to risk offending the Xie family by taking us in." Lin Qingwu smiled and tossed him a small pouch. "Don't worry." Lu Jiao caught the pouch. He looked at the small gold bar in his hand, his expression puzzled. "What is this money for?" Lin Qingwu smiled in response. "After disembarking, take Shirt E with you and check the market prices around here. Also, spread the word that we have a lot of good merchandise." Zhang Shi looked at her with a worried expression. "We are isolated and vulnerable. I'm afraid others will covet what we have." Lin Qingwu smiled reassuringly. "Don't be afraid. I will handle those matters." She looked at Gu Toai and instructed, "Come with me to the Xuanzhou Shipping Company." Gu Toai looked at her and nodded. "Yes, Mississippi." At the Xuanzhou Shipping Company, the manager looked at the report, his face darkening with anger. "Spices, spices, more spices. Haven't we already paid tribute in spices this year? Why do they need another 100,000 units?" He rubbed his forehead wearily. "The last big storm even sank the Xie family ships. Where am I supposed to find another 100,000 units of spices?" At that moment, a servant hurried in and reported, Sir, someone requests an audience." The shipping company manager said angrily, "I'm not seeing anyone." The servant said fearfully, "But they said they have spices." Hearing the word spices, the shipping company manager's face lit up, and he urged, "Spices! Quick, quick, show them in." A moment later, inside the Xuanzhou Shipping Company, the manager looked at Lin Qingwu with an enthusiastic expression. "I hear you have spices and want to do business in Xuanzhou." Lin Qingwu smiled and replied, "That's right, sir. We are originally from Guangzhou. We were supposed to dock in Guangzhou, but we insisted on coming to Xuanzhou to trade. But the Guangzhou Shipping Company still shamelessly took their commission." Hearing this, the Xuanzhou Shipping Company manager slammed his hand on the table angrily. "That's Xie Chongting. He's trying to block Xuanzhou's fortune. I must take this up with him." Lin Qingwu felt a pang of guilt. "I'm already putting eye drops on the Xie family." The manager smiled kindly at Lin Qingwu. "Don't worry, Mississippi. The Xuanzhou Shipping Company would never exploit anyone like that. If you have any difficulties doing business in Xuanzhou, just let me know." Lin Qingwu gave him a strained smile. "Well," Gu Toai, standing behind her, urged. "Well, say it." Lin Qingwu whispered to him. This isn't right, is it?" Seeing this, Gu Toai stepped forward and spoke for her. "Our visit to Master Fan is actually to propose a collaboration. We would like Master Fan to invest in our ship." Lin Qingwu looked at him anxiously. Gu Toai, Master Fan frowned, looking at the two of them. "An investment? This little girl is timid. Even servants can walk all over her. She's a soft persimmon, easy to control." Lin Qingwu took Gu Toai's hand, frowning and saying, "Gu Toai, how could you be so reckless?" Gu Toai opened the box of medicinal herbs and smiled brightly at Master Fan. This is my first time in Xuanzhou, and I've already offended the Xie family. I hope to receive your protection, Master. If you agree, these top-quality spices will belong to you. Consider it an investment in your authority. Master Fan looked at the box of medicinal herbs and broke into a satisfied smile. You're quite sensible. He slyly observed Lin Qingwu and Gu Toai, a servant and a useless owner. This ship isn't exactly a valuable asset. So what? Master Fan stood up and smiled at the two of them. Then let's have a happy cooperation. A fortunate encounter. Gu Toai smiled at Lin Qingwu and said, you sold 70% of the goods to the city shipping company at a low price and spread the word that Master Fan invested in your ship. Now you can do business in Xuanzhou with peace of mind. One voyage, one little play. How much should the owner pay me? Lin Qingwu, who was counting money, looked up at him. She reached out, pinched his cheek, and handed him a few banknotes. Take these banknotes and go. Gu Toai frowned unhappily at her. What did I do wrong? Is the owner trying to get rid of me? Lin Qingwu sighed. I'm not getting rid of you. It's just that you have important matters to attend to, don't you? Gu Toai asked in surprise. How did you know? Lin Qingwu lowered her eyes and said softly, you and your brothers have clearly been preoccupied lately, especially you. You keep giving me these longing looks like you're saying goodbye. Am I wrong? She turned to look at Gu Toai beside her. Gu Toai lowered his head, his lips pressed tightly together. Owner. Lin Qingwu stood up and placed a stack of banknotes on the table. I don't know the specifics of your important matters. I'm afraid I can't help you, but I can give you this money for your journey. Gu Toai grabbed her wrist and pulled her into his arms, roaring angrily. Don't you feel even a little reluctant to part with me? Lin Qingwu sat in his arms, her hand reaching up to gently caress his cheek. If I was reluctant, would you stay? Your safety is my happiness. Gu Toai lowered his head and kissed her lips. You're so good to me, I don't know how to repay you. Lin Qingwu smiled at him. I don't need your repayment. She thought to herself, just don't mention me if you get caught. Gu Toai took out a bright red flower and gave it to her. This is for you. If you ever need anything in the future, bring this to me. No matter what it is, I'll agree. Lin Qingwu took the bright red flower, her face lighting up. Only one request. Gu Toai held her in his arms and smiled. Multiple requests depend on your performance. Lin Qingwu smiled and kissed him softly. Is this performance enough? Gu Toai smiled contentedly at her. Teasing enough. Now you have 3 requests. Lin Qingwu puffed out her cheeks angrily at him. Only 2 more for one kiss? She wrapped her arms around his neck and smiled seductively. Looks like I'll have to work harder. Make another deal. Just then, a loud shout came from outside. Sister. Lin Qingwu and Gu Toai startled, quickly separating. Shi ran in, his face panicked, tears welling in his eyes. It's bad. Quickly go find Lu Jiao. Lin Qingwu furrowed her brow and asked, what's wrong? Shi ran to her and hugged her, sobbing, Lu Jiao? Lin Qingwu and Gu Toai exchanged glances. Understanding, Gu Toai turned and headed out. All right, I understand. I'll go right away. Reaching the door, he paused, glancing back at her with a serious expression. Take care. Lin Qingwu sighed inwardly. He has to leave already. It's for the best. I'm not good at goodbyes anyway. She smiled at him and spoke softly. You too. Be careful out there. Gu Toai turned back, re-entered the room, and faced her. Seeing the tears on her face, he leaned down and kissed her. You still owe me from our last transaction. You must wait for me to come back and collect. He finished waving goodbye. Lin Qingwu, holding Shi, watched him helplessly. Well, you'll have to come back first. The door closed. Shi looked at Lin Qingwu and asked, Sister, are you all right? Lin Qingwu looked at the boy and smiled. I'm fine. What did you say about Lu Jiao? Shi's eyes filled with tears, his voice choked with sobs. I can't find Lu Jiao anywhere. At that time, Shi and Lu Jiao were bargaining with a vendor. Shi glared at the man angrily. Our goods are imported. The vendor looked at him helplessly. This is the highest price I can offer. Any more, and I'll lose money. As they were talking, Lu Jiao suddenly ran off. Shi asked anxiously, Lu Jiao, where are you going? Lu Jiao didn't turn back, replying coldly, I'm going to meet someone. Don't tell master. Hearing this, Lin Qingwu frowned and asked, "Who is he so concerned about? And why did you disobey him and come find me?" Sure, Yi fidgeted, nervously twiddling his thumbs. Because... Just then, Lu Jiao opened the door and walked in. Seeing his grim expression, Sure Yi fearfully apologized. I'm sorry. Lu Jiao closed his eyes and said coldly, "I don't blame you. Go and rest. I will personally explain this to Master." Sure Yi left, leaving Lin Qingwu and Lu Jiao alone. The boy went out, looking worriedly at the two inside. "I hope they don't fight." The sound of the door closing echoed. Inside the room, Lin Qingwu and Lu Jiao looked at each other in silence. Seeing that Lu Jiao remained silent, she frowned and asked, "Well, what's your explanation?" Lu Jiao looked down, his expression troubled. He took a deep breath, his face flushing as he blurted out, "Let's get married tomorrow." Lin Qingwu stared at him in surprise. "What?" She frowned in confusion. "I want an explanation, and I'm still in mourning. I can't get married." Lu Jiao closed his eyes, his face etched with grief. "I'm also in mourning. My father passed away just over a year ago. Marriage is the only explanation I can offer you." Lin Qingwu looked at him with an impassive, cold expression. "I'm not falling for that emotional plea. I just want to know what happened." Lu Jiao clenched his hands, his face troubled. "I didn't tell you only because I didn't want to involve you. Last year at the Jinghua Villa, Ning Mingzhu, the leader of the martial arts world, was attacked. Everyone in the villa, about 5 people, were killed in one night. Sure, Yi is Ning Mingzhu's orphan child. My father was Ning Mingzhu's sworn brother. He happened to be visiting Jinghua Villa that day and died in the fire. If my father and Uncle Ning hadn't risked their lives to protect Sure, Yi and me, we wouldn't even have bones left. Before they died, they urged us not to seek revenge, but to live well." He angrily clenched his fists. Lin Qingwu took his hand and helped him relax his grip. Seeing the blood on Lu Jiao's palm, she sighed and wiped the blood away. "But today you met your enemy. You want to go and take revenge." Lu Jiao took her hand, his expression serious. "I still don't know if I'll come back alive. But we've made skin-to-skin contact." The corner of Lin Qingwu's mouth twitched. Skin-to-skin contact. She sighed inwardly, exasperated. He's misunderstood that incident again. Lu Jiao impulsively embraced her. "Marry me. I know you don't really like me yet, and the whole marrying thing was just a joke to you, but I truly want to be with you forever." Lin Qingwu tilted her head up and kissed him. Lu Jiao was stunned. "Oh." He closed his eyes and accepted her kiss. They shared a deep kiss. Lin Qingwu pushed him onto the bed. She looked directly into his eyes and asked, "You're not even sure if you'll live or die, and you want to marry me? What if something happens? Do you want to make me a widow?" Lu Jiao, breathing heavily, stammered, I didn't mean that." Lin Qingwu leaned over him. Lu Jiao tilted his head back, his breath coming in ragged gasps. She gently kissed his forehead, whispering, "I can give you this, just this once. If you want to marry me, you have to come back alive." Sweat dripped down Lu Jiao's face. He pushed himself up and looked at her helplessly. "You always..." Lu Jiao pushed her down onto the bed. Turning passive to active, he kissed her lips. "You always tease me like this." She looked at him, smiling inwardly. This kid taking the initiative once in a while isn't bad. She suddenly remembered something and looked at Lu Jiao, speaking softly. Right. Don't bring Shui with you. He's still young." Lu Jiao buried his head in her neck, inhaling her fragrance. "That you're still thinking about others at a time like this? It seems I need to punish you." He placed his hand on her chest and then lowered his head, biting her neck hard. His head gradually moved lower. Lin Qingwu whispered, "Don't." Lu Jiao, breathing heavily, his face flushed, looked at her intently. "Don't worry. Until we're married, I won't ruin your purity." Having said that, he lowered his head again. They lingered for a long time. Lin Qingwu was pinned beneath Lu Jiao, her face crimson. Lu Jiao looked at her, frowning. "If word of what you're doing gets out, I won't be able to marry anyone either." Lu Jiao wrapped his arms around her waist, his brow furrowed. "How could that be? Gu Touai, Yang Chao, Yin San, they all want to marry you. Besides, don't worry, I won't actually go all the way." He lowered his head and breathed hot air into her ear. Lin Qingwu's face flushed, and she screamed inwardly. Who would believe the words of this man? The little bee flew to the flower to suck its nectar, and the sound of panting echoed continuously in the room. The bed creaked. Lu Jiao looked at her and softly asked, "Truly don't want to?" He fiercely kissed the back of her foot. "I don't even know if I can make it back alive." Lin Qingwu quickly pulled her foot back and looked at him anxiously. "Don't try to guilt trip me." Lu Jiao smiled faintly at her. "I thought you would agree." He adjusted her clothes and gently kissed her forehead. "That you're always like this. Once you know someone wants to leave, you let go faster than anyone. Your heart is stronger than anyone's." Lin Qingwu lowered her head, avoiding his intimate gesture. "If you've realized that, shouldn't you leave quickly?" Lu Jiao frowned at her, his gaze firm. "But I won't let go." He handed her a green jade sword. "Take this token, the Lu family's jade sword, as proof. I will definitely return alive to find you." Lin Qingwu looked at him in surprise. "Xiaku, don't forget your promise." She closed her eyes and lightly kissed Lu Jiao's lips. A moment later, Lu Jiao went outside and saw Yin San leaning against the door with a surprised expression. "That you've been here the whole time?" Yin San, holding his sword, leaned against the door and said indifferently, "You dared to pull up your pants and leave. Why wouldn't I dare to stay and listen?" Lu Jiao frowned at him, his voice serious. "That I've wronged her. I hope you will take good care of her, and sure Yin San silently watched Lu Jiao's retreating figure. "I also want to take care of her very much, but I don't know how long I can." He covered his mouth and coughed up blood. Suddenly, a noise came from inside the room. Yin San worriedly pushed the door open and ran in. "Owner." Lin Qingwu lay on the bed, her fair skin flushed, her mouth constantly uttering, "Hot, cold." Yin San went over and took her pulse. "That what's going on?" "One side of her pulse is burning like fire. The other is ice cold." "Could it be because of that giant snake?" "The Snake King has a E nature. Women also have a E nature. Today is the 15th of July, when Yin energy is at strongest. The snake's Yin energy is acting up. If she doesn't absorb enough Yang energy, her body will be invaded by the snake's Yin energy and she will die." Lin Qingwu sat up and embraced Yin San, her mouth continuously saying, "Hold me. I'm so cold. Touch me. So cold." She pulled his hand to her cheek. Seeing her like this, Yin San angrily cursed. "It's all because of that immature Lu Jiao. Leaving so soon." Lin Qingwu pressed her face against his chest. Yin San's face flushed. "This is fate, isn't it? I'll help her out of this predicament." He took off his clothes and pressed her down on the bed. Yin San leaned over Lin Qingwu, holding her chin, his eyes gentle. "I never thought there would be a day I could have you." Images of their time together flashed through his mind. "As so many men admire you. I never thought it would be my turn, a man like me." Lin Qingwu held Yin San's hand, her face rubbing against his. So warm." Yin San looked at her with a solemn expression. Don't worry. After I save you, I definitely won't bother you. You'll find a good man and raise children together." Lin Qingwu wrapped her arms around his neck, tilted her head back, and gently licked Yin San's lips, her voice soft. Yin San, her face flushed, her head tilted back. Yin San bit his lip, blood flowing. He lowered his head, transferring blood into her mouth. Lin Qingwu frowned, looking at him. "What is this?" Yin San silently continued, his heart heavy. "This is the only thing I can give you." Lin Qingwu suddenly coughed a few times, her brows furrowed tightly. "Hot, so hot." Yin San looked at her and softly said, "This is a blood oath." Having said that, he lowered his head and kissed her chest. "From now on, I will never disobey you. Your death is my death. We will be together for all eternity." The bed curtains fluttered. Lin Qingwu embraced Yin San, her mouth continuously uttering, Yin San. A long while later, Yin San, his entire body flushed, looked passionately at Lin Qingwu beneath him. He helped her sit up a little and gently asked, "Are you feeling better?" She wrapped her arms around his neck and softly replied, "Much better, just a sore back." She held her waist, her brows slightly furrowed. Could this be a side effect of that snake pill? Yin San, feeling guilty, didn't dare look directly into her eyes. "This is my side effect." Lin Qingwu leaned against Yin San's chest and worriedly asked, "Will it always be like this from now on?" Yin San embraced her from behind and gently said, "Now that you've received Yang energy, there's no escape. Every 15th of the month, especially the 15th of July, you cannot be without a man. Hearing this, she cried out in alarm. How is this any different from a female demon absorbing yang energy? Yin-san laid down on the bed, chuckling as he looked at her. It's essentially the same. He put on a serious expression and explained, the snake pill in your body consumes yang energy, converting it into essence to continuously nourish your body. Isn't that absorbing yang energy? She angrily hit him. Shut up, you're the one. Yin-san cried out as he was hit. Ah! He clutched his stomach, putting on a pitiful expression and acting spoiled. I was just used for nourishment. I'm still very weak. I'm done for internal injuries. Lin Qingwu looked at him worriedly and asked, Are you all right? I didn't use that much force. Yin-san grabbed her hand, pulled her down onto the bed, and burst out laughing. Haha, tricked you. Lin Qingwu, teased, glared at him. Yin-san. Suddenly, Yin-san's entire body stiffened. Lin Qingwu frowned, looking at him unhappily. Again, this trick doesn't work anymore. Yin-san suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. Lin Qingwu cried out in alarm. Yin-san. Lin Qingwu looked at the physician anxiously and asked, Physician, how is he? The physician looked at her and sighed. Was this young man previously injured? Lin Qingwu solemnly replied, Yes, he was originally an assassin. Since following me, he has encountered danger many times. She anxiously looked at the physician and asked, Are his old injuries acting up? I have good healing medicine. The physician shook his head with a troubled expression. This young man's condition is a bit strange. It's not that his old injuries are acting up, but rather that his wounds have never truly healed. Lin Qingwu was stunned. What do you mean? The physician lowered his head and explained, This old man is incompetent. I don't know if this is a strange poison or a serious illness. This young man's body is clearly very strong, but there's no way to truly heal his wounds. Every time he's injured, the damage accumulates. His body will become weaker and weaker. Hearing this, her heart stirred. With a body like that, why was he still willing to risk his life for me? She grasped the physician's hand, her face anxious. I won't let him get hurt again, and I'll use the most precious things in the world to care for him. Will he be all right then? The physician withdrew his hand, his brows furrowed. Even so, I'm afraid he won't live more than 3 years. By now, Yin-san had awakened. He propped himself up, coughing softly. I'm fine. Don't listen to this old man's nonsense. Lin Qingwu rushed into his arms, anxiously asking, Are you all right? Yin-san glanced coldly at the physician beside her. Get out. After the physician left, Yin-san gently pinched Qingwu's face and asked with a smile, Why were you so scared by that quack? Turns out you like me this much. Qingwu frowned, worriedly saying, Don't joke around. Yin-san removed the hairpin from Qingwu's hair and tossed it towards the door. She looked at Qingwu and softly said, I'm fine. I'm a #1 assassin of the Honglu. If I had a hidden illness, how could I have survived until now? Qingwu looked at her, frowning and asking, Then why did you cough up blood? Yin-san gently kissed the top of Qingwu's head, her expression gentle. Isn't it because of you, silly? Qingwu's face flushed red as she glared at Yin-san. Shut up. Yin-san leaned closer to Qingwu's face and asked in a low voice, I've put in so much effort. How are you going to compensate me? Qingwu took out a red life fruit and offered it to her. This fruit can extend lifespan. It's enough to compensate you, right? Yin-san took a bite of the life fruit and looked at Qingwu teasingly. This fruit is really good stuff. After eating this, I can even go another round. Hearing this, Qingwu bristled. Don't even dream of it. Then she stood up and stormed off. The door slammed shut with a loud bang. Yin-san, holding the life fruit, silently looked at the door. Did I really hope this can cure me? Outside, Lin Qingwu leaned against the door, tears streaming down her face. I know you're lying to me. She slumped down, clutching her head and sobbing. Why? Why do you all want to leave me? The next day, they went strolling through the city together. Xuanzhou was truly bustling. All the good shops were already taken. Zhengxi led Qingwu and Yin-san to a shop with a dejected expression. I finally found a place, but the location and condition are a bit worse. Yin-san stepped forward and opened the door, which promptly collapsed. The corner of Yin-san's mouth twitched. This is called a bit worse. We're dealing in fragrances. Our customers are scholars and wealthy families. How can we do business in a shop like this? Zhengxi stood behind them, his face ashen, and I didn't want to rent this place either. It's just that. Qingwu looked at him and asked, Did someone give you trouble when you were renting the shop? Zhengxi gaped at her in surprise. How did you know? Qing Wu rubbed her chin, her eyes gleaming. The fragrance merchants here have a complex relationship. Of course, they wouldn't want to share a piece of the pie with us. Yin San frowned at her and asked, "So what should we do? Find another place to open shop." Qing Wu smiled and shook her head, "And I want to open here and steal their business." The scholar in blue robes asked the scholar in brown robes, "Brother Tran, do you smell something?" The scholar sniffed the faint fragrance in the air. This scent. The two of them walked towards a fragrance shop and looked at the sign in surprise. Fragrant Wine Pavilion. The scholar in brown robes looked at the sign and sneered that, I knew it. They deliberately opened a shop in this remote place and then used fragrance to attract people. Just a merchant's petty trick. The scholar in blue robes sniffed the faint fragrance, a curious look on his face. "But this fragrance is quite novel. Since we're here, let's go in and take a look." Suddenly, someone stopped them. Jensen blocked their way and said indifferently, "Two gentlemen, please wait. If you want to enter the Fragrant Wine Pavilion, you must correctly answer the owner's question." The scholar in brown robes was indignant upon hearing this. That what's the meaning of this? Lin Qingwu emerged from inside, smiling at the two. "Please don't be angry. This is a rule set by our owner." The two scholars stared at her, dumbfounded. Such beauty existed. Qingwu smiled and continued, "My master opened this fragrance shop not for profit, but to find kindred spirits." The fragrance pavilion is divided into 3 levels, each with questions that must be answered. The two scholars looked at her in surprise. They had never heard of a shop that tested its customers. Lin Qingwu smiled and clapped her hands. 3 beautiful women carrying trays of small pouches and couplets emerged. She looked at the two scholars and explained, "Of course, we won't make things difficult for you without reason." Different levels of the Fragrance Pavilion offer different treatments. Each month, the Fragrance Pavilion distributes various member benefits, distinguished by these scented pouches. The scholar in brown picked up a cloth pouch and sniffed it. This is high-quality sandalwood. The scholar in blue standing beside him looked surprised. "How can this be? Just entering the door earns us sandalwood? Isn't this a huge profit?" Lin Qingwu smiled faintly, chuckling inwardly. Sandalwood was more plentiful than dirt on that island. It was practically worthless. She looked at the two men and asked softly, "So, do you want to try?" The two scholars glanced at each other and nodded. "Try, we'll try." A moment later, outside the shop, the surrounding crowd watched the two scholars attempting the questions curiously. What are they doing? A scholarly competition? This shop is quite something. The area outside quickly became noisy and bustling. "Let me see for a moment. I want to try too." Yin Sin watched the scene, his eyebrows raised. That aren't these people being too despicable? Causing trouble when we're busy. Lin Qingwu, standing beside him, smiled faintly. "What do you understand? The more obstacles, the better they can prove themselves. They will naturally flock to it." She thought smugly, "Isn't this how all luxury goods operate?" Yin San frowned at her and asked, "These scholars are incredibly arrogant. Aren't you afraid of going too far and being unable to handle the consequences?" Qing Wu smiled, stroking her chin. "Don't worry, I have a trump card." A moment later, the scholar in brown slammed his brush down on the table angrily. "These questions are deliberately designed to be difficult. No one can solve them. They just want to attract customers. This kindred spirit nonsense is all a sham." The surrounding people looked at each other with bewildered expressions. It's indeed too difficult. Could we really have been tricked? The scholar in brown looked at Lin Qingwu with a lascivious gaze. The crime of deception isn't small. If you compensate and apologize to this young master properly. Yin San's face darkened, his expression cold, and his hand went to his sword. Qingwu signaled to him. Yin San, a fan extended, blocking the brown-clad scholar's hand. Yang Zhao embraced Lin Qingwu, smiling. "Who says we're deceiving anyone?" He looked at Lin Qingwu in his arms and asked, "Are you all right?" Lin Qingwu looked at him and shook her head. "I'm fine." The scholar in brown glared angrily at Yang Zhao. "Are you the owner? Good timing. Come with me to the magistrate. I want to sue you for fraud." His hand throbbed with pain. Yang Zhao, fan in hand, glanced at him and asked indifferently, "Fraud? Why do you say that?" He pointed to the questions on the paper and smiled. "That I can answer all the questions here. Want to compete?" The scholar in brown frowned at Yang Zhao and asked, "Compete? Compete in what? These questions were set by you. Of course you know the answers." Yin San, furious, glared at him, his teeth gritted. This bastard is still going on. Yang Zhao also frowned. Qingwu, standing between them, stopped Yin San and whispered, "It's our first day of business. If we get a reputation for violence, we won't be able to operate." Yin San looked at her and asked, "So what should we do?" Lin Qingwu frowned and replied indifferently, "Trust Yang Zhao, he has a way." Yang Zhao walked up to the scholar in brown robes and said coldly, "I'll let you ask 3 questions. If I can't answer them, I'll willingly accept the penalty." The scholar in brown robes lifted his head arrogantly. "3 questions are not enough." Yang Zhao's expression darkened in anger as he glared menacingly at him. The scholar in brown, intimidated, stammered, "All right, 3 questions then." A moment later, Lin Qingwu looked at Yang Zhao and asked, "Are you all right?" Yang Zhao looked at her with a bright smile. "Although I'm a military general, my foster father hired renowned teachers for me since I was young. I definitely won't lose to these guys." However, he took Lin Qingwu's hand and kissed it gently. "If there's a reward, I'll be more certain." Lin Qingwu lowered her eyes about that. Yang Zhao looked at her dejectedly and asked, "Is that not allowed?" Lin Qingwu lifted her head and gently kissed his lips. "Is this enough for complete success?" Yang Zhao looked directly into her eyes and smiled confidently, certain victory. A moment later, the scholar in brown said with a smug laugh, "Hee hee, the questions have been decided. Considering you're a merchant, I'll be lenient this time and use 3 couplets as the subject. Tianshan Dai, Ziyushan Hao." 3 scrolls with characters were held out. Yin San frowned as he looked at the scrolls. Why are there so many characters? It looks difficult at first glance. Lin Qingwu, standing beside him, said with a serious expression, "The first one is a homophonic couplet. The second one has 4 separated characters with fluent meaning, and the third one collects 7 colors. Finally, there are antonyms. This is basically deliberately making things difficult. It's a good thing we didn't let someone who only knows how to count like you be the leader." Yinsen became angry upon hearing this. "What about me? I can fight 10 of them alone." The scholar in brown looked at Yang Zhao with a smug smile. "Leader, please enlighten us." Yang Zhao narrowed his eyes, his face grim. Seeing his silence, the scholar in brown became even more smug. "If you admit defeat now and give me that young lady, then perhaps." Before he could finish speaking, Yang Zhao picked up a brush and began to write. "Tianshan Daisy Chu Shan Hao, Zhelan Kao Ku, Uf and Chu Mu Bai Shan Shigubu, Rinha Ba, Lai Qian Li Zhongi Rua, Xin Hong Lu, Bai Ta Jia, Tashinji Mu Ji, Yong Yining Huang He." Yang Zhao finished writing and put down his brush. He hung up the 3 answers with an indifferent expression. Too simple. The surrounding people looked at the answers and exclaimed in admiration. Such beautiful calligraphy. To come up with such brilliant lines so quickly. Amazing, truly amazing. Neat handwriting, profound meaning. He's a true genius. Yang Zhao looked at the scholar in brown, narrowed his eyes, and asked, "Do I now have the qualifications to set questions for you?" The surrounding people looked at the scholar in brown and laughed. "I think he just wanted to extort money. Ha, he was so arrogant just now. I saw his lecherous gaze earlier." Yang Zhao lowered his head, his eyes cold and deep, and looked at the scholar in brown. "Dare to look at my woman with those eyes again, and I'll gouge them out." Then he raised his head and smiled at everyone that I've delayed everyone's time today, so it's on me. Today, the first floor of Yaixianggu will be open to everyone. The scholar in brown, frightened, scrambled to his feet and ran. "Ah, spare me, I was wrong." People flocked into the shop. "We've made back our money." Yin San, guarding Lin Qingwu to the side, said angrily, "I think you colluded with that Yang Zhao kid earlier to put on this act." Lin Qingwu smiled at both Yin San and Yang Zhao. "Let it go, let it go. No need to mind these small details. Making money is what matters." In a hidden corner, an old man witnessed the scene and ordered his subordinate behind him, "Go back and report to the master. Those kids have started their business." The servant hastily replied, "What if the old man punishes us?" The old man sneered, "What's there to be afraid of? It's just a woman. She won't last more than 2 days." Inside the fragrance pavilion, people were pouring in. Qingwu's eyes shone as she calculated the accounts. Those scholars really do have money. We've earned so much. Yinsen lay sprawled on the table beside her, bored. So boring. In a corner, unnoticed by the crowd, a man in blue floral robes furtively glanced around. A young woman approached him and said with a smile, "This is the top-grade dragon incense you requested." The man in blue looked at her and asked, "Is this really the piece I looked at earlier? Not a fake?" The young woman smiled and replied, "How could it be?" The man in blue floral robes opened the box. "Let me check." He picked up the incense piece, while surreptitiously holding a fake piece in his other hand. Someone paid him to do this. To switch the real one with the fake ruined their reputation. "This money is for you." Thinking this, the man in blue gave the young woman a sinister smile. "This doesn't look right. You haven't switched it with a fake, have you?" Yinsen stepped forward and broke the man's right arm. A fake incense piece fell to the ground. Qing Wu walked over, sat down, and picked it up. "Sir, you brought your own incense. Are you perhaps trying to do business with us? It's a pity it's a fake. Why don't you come inside and tell us who gave you this?" A while later, the man in blue, tied up and bruised, said fearfully, Don't hit me anymore. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything." Qing Wu sat on a chair, her chin resting on her hand, and looked at him coldly. "Who told you to cause trouble? Faking dragon incense isn't something a small fry like you could manage." The man in blue trembled with fear. It was a tall man. I don't know him." Yinsen tightened his fist and glared menacingly at the man. The man in blue cried out in terror, "But I heard others call him Master Lin." Don't hit me." Qing Wu frowned and asked, "Master Lin? Does he have a scar on his right hand?" The terrified man in blue, tears welling in his eyes, nodded. Yes. Qing Wu sneered, her face darkening. "Lin Guoqiang, you've come looking for trouble yourself." Yinsen looked at her and asked, "Who is Lin Guoqiang?" Qing Wu sneered, "My uncle's eldest son, a fool who will die at the hands of a woman sooner or later." Yinsen frowned. "Isn't your uncle the one who ruined your family? He's targeting you again." The corner of Lin Qingwu's lips curled up. "I'm selling exotic incense abroad, taking his business. But this time, I'm afraid it's Lin Guoqiang's idea. My dear uncle isn't so easily provoked." Yinsen looked at her and asked, "What do you want to do? Do you need me to kill him for you?" She smiled and shook her head, "No need. If Lin Guoqiang is actively seeking death, then don't blame me for striking first." At the flower house, the madam greeted the newcomer with a smile. "Oh, Master Lin, you've arrived. Please have a seat. It's been a while since you've graced us with your presence." Lin Guoqiang, the eldest son of Lin Qingwu's uncle, looked at her with displeasure and ordered, "I'm tired of the girls here. Anything new? Bring them all out for me." The madam smiled and replied, "Rest assured, just wait in the private room." In a private room, two men flattered Lin Guoqiang. "Master Lin, your reputation has soared recently. I hear old Master Lin has entrusted you with the spice business. Perhaps it won't be long before you officially take over the Lin family fleet." Lin Guoqiang held his wine cup, smiling smugly. "Well said, but I still have to pass my father's test first." The man with the top knot beside him smiled in agreement. "Master Lin is a natural genius. No test can pose a challenge to you." Lin Guoqiang tightened his grip on his wine cup angrily and looked at the two men arrogantly. "However, as long as you cooperate with me in suppressing prices, I don't believe that Miao Xiangge, with no one backing them, can surpass us." The long-haired man beside him looked troubled. "But we are not as wealthy and influential as the Lin family. I'm afraid we can't sustain a price war for long." Lin Guoqiang sneered, his eyes narrowing. "Don't worry, I'll compensate you for whatever you lack. Once that small shop is ruined, my father will let me take over the fleet. Then we won't have to worry about money." Lin Guoqiang cheerfully raised his wine cup, then to a happy cooperation. At this moment, a slender hand lifted the curtain, revealing a beautiful and elegant young woman sitting on a chair playing the zither. Lin Guoqiang's eyes lit up. "Beautiful, truly beautiful, a true masterpiece. This beauty awaits me." The beautiful young woman approached him and poured him a cup of wine. Lin Guoqiang looked at her with infatuation. "Delicious. Wine fed by my darling is the best. It's getting late. Let's get down to business, hee." Lin Guoqiang lay on the bed, smiling dreamily. "Beauty, why haven't you jumped into my arms yet?" The other two men were also unconscious, thrown onto the bed. The beautiful young woman looked at the three of them and sneered. "Is this enough?" Qing Wu, dressed as a man, smiled and walked in. "Of course. Lin Guoqiang will help us finish the rest. We just need to watch them." A faint fragrance wafted through the room. Qing Wu looked at Yang Xiaonan, also dressed as a woman, and smiled. "I've booked a room next door. We can rest there for a while." She then turned and walked out. Yang Xiaonan looked at the clothes she was wearing and thought, "Finally, I can take this dress off." She looked at Qing Wu, who was holding her head and frowning, and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Qing Wu's face was flushed, her body weak. She felt dizzy for some reason and suddenly lost her balance. Yang Xiaonan caught her, worriedly thinking, something's not right. Qingwu's face was flushed, her eyes hazy as she pulled at her clothes. It's so hot. Yang Xiaonan's hand rested on her waist. Your body is burning up. Qingwu quickly backed away. Don't touch me. I feel strange. Her back hit the table, knocking over the incense burner. Yang Xiaonan glanced at the incense burner, her expression changing. The incense here has been drugged. Wake up. You've been hit with an aphrodisiac. Qingwu held Yang Xiaonan's face, smiling. Oh, where did such a beautiful young lady come from? The corner of Yang Xiaonan's mouth twitched. Don't joke around, master. Lin Qingwu's hand rested on Yang Xiaonan's chest, her expression bewildered. Why is it a man? Yang Xiaonan supported her, frowning. Master, please calm down first. Lin Qingwu pressed her face against Yang Xiaonan's chest, her whole body relaxing. But your body is so cool, so comfortable. This part is cold too. Her hand pulled at Yang Xiaonan's clothes, touching her all over. Yang Xiaonan quickly grabbed her hand and then grabbed a curtain, using it to tie her hands. Lin Qingwu looked at Yang Xiaonan with a pitiful, aggrieved expression. Why are you tying me up? Yang Xiao sighed, looking at her. Because you weren't good. You laid your hands on a respectable young lady. He tore a piece of cloth from his clothing and blindfolded her. His kiss fell. Also because I don't want you to see the unsightly way you're bewitched by me, utterly captivated. Qingwu tilted her head back, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The feeling of being kissed is even stronger. Even the feeling of his breath on me is so clear. She struggled, her voice soft. What do you want to do? Yang Zhao looked at her, smiling faintly. Stop struggling. You can't escape. She whispered, Yang Zhao. Yang Zhao smiled, pressing his face closer. I didn't expect the young mistress to have such a lovely side. Qingwu's voice was soft and pleading. Yang Zhao. The next day, the madam walked to the bedside, smiling. Did Master Lin sleep well last night? Mid-sentence, she shrieked. Lin Guiqiang and another man were sleeping soundly, their bodies naked and embraced. The madam's face flushed red with embarrassment as she quickly covered her eyes. Excuse me. I didn't know you had such preferences. By now, Lin Guiqiang had woken up. He opened his eyes, frowning at the madam. Why are you here? Lin Jiaxing, Lin Qingwu's uncle, slammed his hand on the chair in fury. What? There are rumors outside that you sold your body. You disgrace. Lin Guiqiang knelt on the ground, tears and snot streaming down his face. Father, I was framed. You understand me. How could I possibly like men? It must be that little wretch Lin Qingwu. I just took action against her, and she immediately used this trick to harm me. Lin Jiaxing's face darkened with rage. What good are these words now? Everyone knows it's that wretch's doing. What I want to hear is how to deal with her. At this moment, someone walked in and gave a cold laugh. Dealing with Lin Qingwu is simple. Lin Jiaxing frowned at the newcomer. Zizi, why are you here? Lin Zizi, Lin Qingwu's cousin, looked at him and smiled. I'm here to help father and brother, of course. Lin Guiqiang glared at her, displeased. What does a woman like you know? Stop meddling in men's affairs. Lin Zizi smiled darkly at him. Lin Qingwu is also a woman. Lin Guiqiang's brows furrowed in anger. What do you mean? Lin Zizi's eyes flashed as she smiled and replied, I mean, a woman should be dealt with using a woman's methods. Lin Jiaxing asked in surprise. What do you want to do? Lin Zizi leaned close to his ear and whispered. Lin Jiaxing's eyes lit up after hearing her words, and he smiled, patting her head in praise. Good. You're truly my daughter. With these tactics, I can rest assured about you marrying into the Morong family. Lin Zizi took his hand, acting coquettishly. Father, if this succeeds, can you please not make me marry that sickly ghost? Lin Jiaxing slapped her angrily. Fool. Do you know how much effort I put into climbing up to the Morong family? That's the Empress Dowager's maternal family. It's not your place to decide whether to marry or not. Lin Zizi fell to the ground, clutching her face with one hand and clenching the other, tears welling up in her eyes, her face full of unwillingness. But outwardly, she pretended to be obedient. Yes, father, I understand. But in her heart, she was filled with resentment. If you don't love me, don't blame your daughter for being unfilial. Elsewhere, Lin Qingwu threw herself at Yang Zhao, acting spoiled. You look really beautiful dressed as a woman. Do it again sometime. Yang Zhao looked at her, exasperated. Stop joking around. At this moment, Yin-san, holding an invitation, opened the door. Seeing the scene inside the room, the head of the household flushed, his lips twitching. The head of the household stamina is truly impressive. Qingwu startled, quickly separating. Shut up. Yin-san handed her the letter. She took it, her brow furrowing. An invitation to the flower appreciation banquet, and it was from the Lin estate. Yin-san nodded. Someone delivered it early this morning, saying it was from the eldest miss of the Lin family. Qingwu's hand tightened around the invitation. The eldest miss of the Lin family, Lin Zizi? Memories flashed through her mind, her face darkening. Daring to borrow a knife to kill, daring to cause my mother's death from anger. She dares to seek me out. Yang Zhao embraced her from behind, softly comforting her. Master, don't be angry, don't be rash. I will definitely help you get revenge. Yin-san, standing beside them, nodded in agreement. Me too. Lin Qingwu narrowed her eyes, her expression grim. No, I will personally settle this grudge. At the Lin estate, sister, you finally came. Lin Zizi stood in the courtyard, smiling. After uncle and aunt passed away, you didn't come home. We were all worried about you, not knowing what you were doing out there. She covered her mouth with a handkerchief, feigning concern at a woman on her own, outside. You must have suffered a lot, right? And I don't know how you managed to acquire such wealth. The young ladies around her whispered amongst themselves that the eldest daughter of the Lin family, indeed, decked out in gold and silver, incredibly wealthy. A woman on her own, her family doesn't know what she's doing, yet she's amassed a large fortune. What do you think she does? Could it be that? It must be. Qingwu looked at Lin Zizi's feigned pity and spoke softly. Isn't it all thanks to my uncle's generosity? He gifted me the ship on which my father met his demise. Perhaps Father in heaven is helping me. Even though I left home with nothing, I've earned a lot of silver. Everyone gasped in astonishment. Heavens! Old Master Lin only gave his niece a broken ship? No wonder she had to leave and become independent. She must have been driven out, right? There's a good show to watch today. Seeing the shift in public opinion, Lin Zizi's face darkened, and she gritted her teeth in anger. Lin Qingwu, you won't be smug for long. She hurried to Qingwu's side, forcing a smile. Come in. Everyone is waiting. Just then, someone entered. Young Master Morong, please come in. Lin Jiaxing exclaimed in surprise. What? He's here? He's from the main branch of the Morong family. Why has he graced our home with his presence? A servant leaned in and whispered in his ear. Lin Jiaxing's face lit up with excitement as he stood up and walked out. I must have Zizi attend to him. We must be careful with him. In the courtyard, a child sat on a chair, looking at the person in front of him with an impatient voice as, oh, boring. I thought someone who makes a living at sea would have some interesting toys. The boy glanced at Lin Qingwu, standing not far away, no fun at all. And there's even an unlucky woman dressed as a man. Lin Zizi, seeing this, sneered, standing aside to watch the drama unfold. Yin-san's face darkened in anger. I'll take care of that brat for you. Qingwu quickly stopped him and, don't rush to deal with that child. We can't afford to provoke the person beside him. Yin-san frowned, looking at the person sitting next to the child. That person dressed in white is... Inside the cool pavilion, Murong Zhan smiled as he poured a cup of tea. Don't be so angry. If you don't like her, what does it matter if she's beaten or killed? Lin Qingwu looked at Murong Zhan, her brow furrowed. The Empress Dowager's nephew, the legitimate young master of the Murong family, Murong Zhan. At this moment, Lin Zizi stepped forward, smiling gently at Murong Zhan. Please forgive me, young master. It's because I, the host, haven't been attentive enough. I'll order someone to send that courtesan away immediately. The child, arms crossed, glared at Lin Zizi. Compared to the courtesan, I'd rather not see that ugly woman with a pig-like face clinging to Brother Moreau. Lin Zizi, humiliated, teared up with a pitiful expression. I didn't. She stammered, looking at young Master Moreau. Murong Zhan sipped his tea, his face expressionless. Why are you telling Shara this? Is he supposed to cry for you? Lin Zizi tried to compose herself, as long as she could stay by Murong Zhan's side. What did it matter if she had to please a child? She approached Shar, attempting to win him over. Young master. Before she could finish, Shar impatiently interrupted her, pointing at someone in the crowd. Get out. I want her to serve me. Qingwu was surprised to find him pointing at her. Shara looked at her with a bright smile, and why uncle and father both said courtesans are the best at serving people. I want to see how you're different from the maidservants in my house. Lin Zizi scoffed disdainfully at her. Murong Zhan gave the boy a meaningful glance, but remained silent. Lin Zizi smiled at Shar. Young master probably doesn't know, but serving isn't just serving. How can a courtesan's methods compare to a maidservant's? Shar looked at her, half understanding. Seeing everyone mocking Lin Qingwu, Yinsen gritted his teeth. Qingwu, arms crossed, looked at Shar impassively. Maybe other courtesans know how to serve, but I don't. You got the wrong person. Shar was angered by her refusal. They're all courtesans. What's the difference? You dare refuse me. He turned to Murong Zhan. Brother Murong, I want this woman. Murong Zhan nodded. All right, as Shar wishes. Lin Qingwu frowned. Just who is this Shar? Even Murong Zhan listened to everything he said. She looked coldly at Murong Zhan. Young Master Murong, children are ignorant, but you're indulging him in enslaving others. Do you have no regard for the law? As soon as she finished speaking, a group of men surrounded her. Murong Zhan, holding his teacup, looked at her indifferently. I am the law. He smiled faintly towards Lin Qingwu. If you don't agree. Before Lin Qingwu could speak, Lin Zizi interjected. Young Master Murong, my sister agrees. She turned to Shar ingratiatingly. Young master, my sister is very good at making pastries. They're sweet and fragrant. Why don't you let her make some for you to try? Shar's appetite was piqued. In that case, as you wish. Qingwu frowned deeply. She didn't know how to cook, and she suspected her scheming cousin was setting her up. Lin Zizi took her hand, threateningly. If you anger young Master Murong, our entire Lin family will be buried alive. Lin Qingwu frowned. But I don't know how to make pastries at all. Lin Zizi smiled. A.S. if I don't know you. I'll have the best chef in the house make them, and you just stay hidden in the kitchen. Don't cause any more trouble for our Lin family. After saying that, she left. Yinsen looked at Lin Qingwu and asked, Do you think that woman's words are true? Lin Qingwu sneered and replied, Whether it's true or false, we'll find out soon enough. A moment later, the refreshments were served. The refreshments are here. Lin Zizi looked at Murong Zhan and Shar, smiling as she said, These crispy pastries are best enjoyed with fresh fruit yogurt. You too must try them. Shat's eyes lit up this feeling. Lin Zizi carried a bowl of yogurt and looked at Murong Zhan ingratiatingly. Young Master Murong, this crispy pastry was specially prepared for you by my older sister. It's not too sweet, and I made this yogurt myself. If you don't mind. Murong Zhan coldly refused. Thank you, but I get rashes if I eat dairy products. Shar took a bite of the pastry and, giggling happily, looked at Lin Zizi. Haha, you try to flatter him, but you didn't even bother to do your research. Everyone knows Brother Zhan can't eat dairy. Lin Zizi gave an awkward laugh. I'm truly sorry. My knowledge is limited. She looked at Murong Zhan apologetically. I've been so rude. I'm not as thoughtful as my older sister, who knows to prepare low-sugar pastries. Murong Zhan glanced at the sachet on her person and quickly moved away. There's a strange smell on her, and she keeps urging me to eat the pastry supposedly prepared by Lin Qingwu. Let's see what trick she's playing. Thinking this, he picked up the pastry and took a bite, his expression stunned. Inside the pastry was a small piece of paper. Please come to the second room in the back courtyard. Lin Qingwu. Murong Zhan's face flushed crimson. His breathing grew heavy. This feeling, he pressed his lips together, his eyes cold. Excuse me, I have something to attend to. Lin Zizi smiled slyly. He's taken the bait. Late at night, Lin Zizi lay in bed. Outside, Murong Zhan stumbled along, his face flushed, his clothes disheveled. That woman, she drugged me. His breathing became increasingly ragged. It seems I must find a woman to counteract this poison. He went and opened a door. Lin Zizi lay peacefully asleep in her bed. Murong Zhan stood at the door, looking at the person inside. His hands clenched. Lin Qingwu lay in bed, her lips pressed tightly together. Murong Zhan stood beside the bed, looking at the sleeping Lin Qingwu. Lin Zizi wants me to misunderstand that Lin Qingwu put an aphrodisiac in the pastry, wanted to sleep with me. In reality, the aphrodisiac was in Lin Zizi's sachet. She started to take off her own clothes, waiting for the drug to take effect so she could take advantage of me and latch onto the Murong family. She could also shift the blame onto Lin Qingwu. Two birds with one stone, truly vicious. Too bad I won't let her have her way. His clothes fell to the floor. Murong Zhan climbed onto the bed and sat astride Lin Qingwu. I'd rather be with this woman than touch that venomous one. He leaned down and grasped her chin. Lin Qingwu pulled out a knife and held it to Murong Zhan's throat. I never thought pretending to sleep would yield such a great harvest. Murong Zhan looked at her in surprise. You weren't affected by that woman's scheme? Lin Qingwu gave him a cold smile. I know Lin Zizi far better than you do. During the day, after Lin Zizi left, Lin Qingwu looked at Yin-san and instructed, if we don't play along with Lin Zizi, we won't know her scheme. You hide first, and we'll adapt to the situation. Yin-san nodded at her. Understood. A cup of tea spilled onto the table. The two servants, seeing Lin Qingwu had fainted, glanced at each other that she's out cold. We'll just say we saw her sneaking around and locked her up. The fat one nodded. Not bad. Miss Lin Zizi has already made the excuse of changing clothes. She's in the second room. By then, will young Master Murong, burning with desire, even notice? Yin-san, hidden on the roof, silently observed. The two men carried Lin Qingwu into a room. The fat one leered at the thin one. After Miss and young Master Murong are finished, we'll drag Lin Qingwu out. We'll say she was caught sabotaging their plan and make her take the blame. The thin one asked, have you arranged for the catching in the act part? The fat one nodded. Don't worry, it's all taken care of. In another room, Murong Zhan overheard Lin Zizi's scheme. Hide Lin Qingwu in the third room and don't let her out. Remember, this is all Lin Qingwu's trap. Miss Lin Zizi mistakenly entered the second room and was forced upon by young Master Murong. Make sure you don't get it wrong. Outside, Yin-san, dressed as a servant, sneered as he watched Murong Zhan in the room. Back in the present, Lin Qingwu's eyes were sharp. Yin-san came to her aid. He appeared, rope in hand, and gave Murong Zhan a knowing smile. Murong Zhan frowned. This time, I'm done for. A moment later, Murong Zhan was tied up, his hands bound behind his back. He knelt on the ground and looked up at Lin Qingwu. What do you want? Money, power. Lin Qingwu looked at him coldly, that I'm not asking for much. First, I want you to apologize to me. Murong Zhan frowned at her. Lin Qingwu continued, you're running out of time. Although my men have knocked out and moved Lin Zizi, the people she arranged will be here, soon to catch you in the act. She kicked Murong Zhan in the groin. What will they say when they see you like this, young Master Murong? Murong Zhan lowered his head. I apologize, Miss Lin. If I don't avenge this humiliation, I'm not a man. Lin Qingwu pressed her foot down slightly harder. I have a second request. Murong Zhan glared at her. What else do you want? Lin Qingwu looked at him seriously. I also want the Murong family to support my fleet and help us expand our sales. Murong Zhan was furious. What did you say? He glared at Lin Qingwu. The Murong family has its own fleet. Why would we support a small, unknown fleet like yours? What kind of dream are you living in? Lin Qingwu increased the pressure on her foot, making Murong Zhan tremble and his face flush. She smiled at him. If young Master Murong doesn't agree to support us, I won't force you. But our small fleet is having financial difficulties. It's a pity that a weak woman like me can only raise money by selling clothes and shoes. What do you think? Could these dirty shoes fetch a good price? Murong Zhan narrowed his eyes at her. You're threatening me. Outside, a servant's voice called out. Miss Lin Zizi said she was going to change clothes. Why hasn't she returned? And I haven't seen young Master Murong either. Aren't they? Inside the room, Lin Qingwu smiled at Murong Zhan. Young Master Murong, you're running out of time. Threatened and at a loss for what to do, Murong Zhan angrily agreed. I agree. Let me go. If they come in here, Yin-san knocked him unconscious. Lin Qingwu whispered to Yin-san, watch him and make him write the contract. I still have the next scene to play. Yin-san nodded. Understood. A moment later, a young woman arrived at the door of Lin Zizi's room. The door opened by itself. Zizi, why aren't you dressed yet? Come out quickly. Lin Zizi, pinned beneath a servant, saw someone arrive and angrily yelled, no, I don't want to. Let me go. The young woman, witnessing this scene, cried out in shock, Zizi, what's going on here? Lin Zizi, both furious and ashamed, threw a pillow. Get out. All of you get out. The young woman, startled, dodged the pillow, her face darkening. Lin Zizi had called her to catch her in the act, but this performance was a bit too realistic. Looking towards the bed, she muttered, Zizi, don't be afraid. I will definitely get justice for you. I must play my part quickly. She walked over and placed a hand on the shoulder of the person on top of Lin Zizi. Murong, young master. The person turned their head, a lecherous and unfamiliar face grinning at her. The young woman's expression changed. Who are you? Lin Zizi, lying on the bed, roared furiously, get out. All of you get out. At this moment, others arrived, surprised by the scene. Hadn't Lin Zizi told them to come and catch her with Murong Zhan? That's not Murong Zhan, is it? That's Chef Wang, the esteemed young mistress of the Lin Manor, with a chef. The flower viewing festival is only half over, and she couldn't wait? How shameless. Lin Zizi sat up, covering kiss marks, and rage. This bastard was drugged. I was forced. It was Lin Qingwu, that bitch. She set me up. Go find her. Just then, Lin Qingwu entered, smiling. She looked at Lin Zizi and asked coldly, Zizi, are you looking for me? Lin Zizi jumped up, glaring at her furiously. It was you. You did this. It was your servant, wasn't it? Lin Qingwu looked at her with a bewildered expression, but I don't understand what you're talking about. Yin-san and I were strolling in the back garden. In fact, I even ran into young Master Murong. Lin Zizi's face paled, looking at her in disbelief. Could it be that you two? Lin Zizi glared at Lin Qingwu, furious and resentful. You were the one dallying with a man. You slipped the note with the rendezvous into the pastries. You wanted a private meeting with young Master Murong. At this moment, Murong Zhan entered, his voice cold. Such reckless accusations. I got lost in a manor and happened to run into Lin Qingwu. Miss Lin, I advise you to refrain from speaking nonsense and falsely accusing others. He narrowed his eyes, his gaze sharp and cold as he looked at Lin Zizi. The Murong family's reputation will not tolerate slander. Lin Zizi cowered, her voice shrinking to, I meant to say Lin Qingwu. It was her. She seduced you. I saw it. She slipped the note into the pastries. Murong Zhan took a step forward, sneering at Oh. Why are you only telling me this now? Causing discord, scheming against others, losing your chastity before marriage, failing to uphold a woman's virtue. The Murong family does not need this kind of daughter-in-law. Lin Zizi's face turned pale as she collapsed to the ground. No. Murong Zhan turned his back, his voice cold, that I will certainly report this matter to my family and will choose another day to visit the Lin Manor to break off the engagement. Lin Zizi sat on the ground, fearfully looking at him and pleading, Young Master Murong, please. No, please forgive me. Everyone around them looked at Lin Zizi with disdain. How embarrassing. If she were my daughter, I'd lock her in the ancestral hall for life. Might as well give her a rope to hang herself. She'll be kicked out of the family genealogy anyway. As Murong Zhan walked past, Lin Qingwu whispered, Young Master Murong, don't forget our agreement. Murong Zhan's face darkened as he glared at her. Lin Qingwu, for the humiliation I suffered today, I will make you pay back 100-fold. Lin Qingwu smiled and replied, I respectfully await that day. Murong Zhan stormed out. Inside the shipyard, Yinsen looked at Lin Qingwu and said, This is the Murong family's magnificent support? Trying to trick us with these damaged ships? Do they take us for scavengers? Lin Qingwu looked at the dilapidated ships, her brow furrowed. These ships, if converted to cash, are indeed the amount we previously discussed. Yin-san frowned at her, but repairing these will nearly deplete our resources. That Murong brat is clearly doing this on purpose. Lin Qingwu's expression remained indifferent. Oh, what if he is? The floods in Yinzhou have lasted for 2 months. Good lumber from the north can't be transported here. Even with money, we can't buy new ships now, let alone. Do you think a fleet of this size can be built just by throwing money at it and hiring anyone? Yinsen glanced at her. You did this on purpose. Lin Qingwu touched the rudder, her brow furrowing. This rudder. At that moment, a servant ran up to Lin Qingwu, looking panicked. Miss, the magistrate requests your presence. Hearing this, her brow furrowed even deeper. The magistrate? The magistrate. In a room at the magistrate's office, several merchants sat on chairs, chatting amongst themselves. Shopkeeper Zhang, long time no see. Your eldest son. Business is booming, I hear. Yinsen sat beside Lin Qingwu, frowning. These are all wealthy and influential merchants in the city. I wonder why the magistrate called them all together. Could be he wants to increase the business tax. Lin Qingwu narrowed her eyes, analyzing the situation. And these people are all quite wealthy. A small fry like me shouldn't even be qualified to sit in the same room with them. How is this possible? Just then, the magistrate entered, and everyone stood up. We greet the Lord Magistrate. Murong Zhan followed him in. The magistrate looked at everyone and smiled. There's no need for formalities. I've invited you all here today because I have something to discuss. Young Master Murong will explain the details on my behalf. Lin Qingwu frowned, surprised as she looked at Murong Zhan. It's him. Murong Zhan stepped forward, smiling at everyone that I'm sure you've all heard about the floods in Yinzhou. I am here by order of the Empress Dowager, calling for disaster relief from all quarters. The merchants exchanged troubled glances. Isn't this another call for us to donate food and money? The business tax was just raised last year, and now they're asking for more silver. Lin Qingwu looked at Murong Zhan, her face grim. Could he be here to target me, to force me to donate money for disaster relief? The head of the Merchants Guild, Qian Tu, looked at Murong Zhan with a troubled expression. Young Master Murong, the situation in Yinzhou is indeed dire, but things aren't easy for us either. The middle-aged man with short hair and a square jaw beside him quickly added, That's right. Materials can't get into Yinzhou, and we're not making any money. Another man looked at Murong Zhan with a fawning smile. Since you're here by order of the Empress Dowager to provide disaster relief, why not provide some relief to us? The others chimed in. Yes, provide relief for us. We're almost out of food ourselves. Lin Qingwu silently watched this scene unfold. Murong Zhan, striking first to gain the upper hand, tossed the problem back to Qian Tuesday. This treasurer, the head of the Merchant Guild, was indeed capable. Murong Zhan addressed the increasingly agitated crowd. Everyone, please calm down. Don't be hasty. I understand your difficulties. He paused, then continued. But it is precisely because of these difficulties that we need to unite and overcome them together. A middle-aged man with short hair gave him a cold laugh. Dado, anyone can spout fine words. Murong Zhan smiled brightly at him. Of course, I'm not just offering empty words. There will be compensation for participating in this disaster relief effort. Hearing the mention of compensation, the merchants exchanged glances. Compensation? Would the imperial court be so generous? Lin Qingwu remained silent. Murong Zhan clapped twice, and a servant girl entered carrying a tray covered with red cloth. Murong Zhan lifted the cloth to reveal the contents of the tray. Please have a look at what this is. The merchant stared at the tokens on the tray with bewildered expressions. These are tokens. What use are they? Murong Zhan looked at them with a serious expression. These past few years, pirates have been rampant along the coast. The imperial court has long intended to resolve this issue. These maritime permits are a key part of that plan. From this month onward, those without a maritime permit will not be allowed to conduct business at sea. Those who disobey will be executed. Lin Qingwu's face darkened. The other merchants jumped to their feet. Maritime permits? Out of nowhere, if we're not allowed to go to sea, we're being forced into ruin. Lin Qingwu finally spoke. Master Murong, I have something to say if I may. Murong Zhan looked at her inquiringly. What guidance do you have for me, Miss Lin? Lin Qingwu asked him coldly. Master Murong, you've presented these maritime permits, but you want us to donate to disaster relief in exchange for them. If we don't donate, we lose our right to trade at sea. She thought to herself, he clearly knows that I've spent more than half my fortune repairing old ships, and he deliberately brings this up now. Even if I had enough money to buy a permit, I wouldn't have the resources to hire crews and purchase goods. If I don't get a permit, my ships will rot in my hands. I'll be dragged down to ruin. She clenched her fists. What a vicious scheme. Murong Zhan looked at her, his expression darkening. Exchange? No, this is an auction. Write the amount of your donation on a red slip of paper and place it in this box. Once everyone has contributed, the amounts will be revealed. The 10 highest bidders will receive the maritime permits. Lin Qingwu glared at him as, oh, you want us to bid against each other while you sit back and reap the benefits. Clever, she thought. If this is an auction, how can I possibly outbid those wealthy merchants? Murong Zhan's voice turned cold. If you don't wish to participate in the auction, Miss Lin, you are free to leave. I won't stop you. Lin Qingwu gave a cold laugh. Ha, I can leave. And when I do, I'll go straight to the capital and report Master Murong's brilliant plan to His Majesty. I wonder if your account books will hold up to the Emperor's scrutiny. She leaned closer, her voice a low threat. Murong Zhan's face darkened. Qian Tu hastily intervened. Young people, please, don't be so quick to anger. Allow me to persuade Miss Lin. If she causes a scene, none of us will look good. Murong Zhan gave him a cold look. Are you joining in on this threat, guild leader? He narrowed his eyes, sweeping his gaze across the room. The auction will begin in half an hour. Those who do not participate will be considered to have forfeited their chance at a maritime permit. With that, he turned and walked out. Qian Tu smiled and gestured to Lin Qingwu. Miss Lin, please. Lin Qingwu frowned warily at him. What was this old fox planning to say to her now? In another room, Qian Tu looked at Lin Qingwu indifferently and said, I've heard of Miss Lin for a long time. Meeting you today, you truly live up to your reputation. Lin Qingwu looked at him and said directly, "There's no need for pleasantries, head Qian. What do you want to say to me?" Qian too laughed loudly, looking at her, straightforward. "I like that. Then I'll be frank. Miss Lin, are you willing to cooperate with me?" Lin Qingwu looked at him and asked, "Cooperate on what?" Qian tu picked up his teacup and said softly, "This whole affair, young Master Morong is targeting you. Isn't he, Miss Lin? There's no use denying it. There's something between the two of you. Anyone with eyes can see it." Lin Qingwu looked at him and asked directly, "So you want to push me out as a scapegoat?" Qian tu laughed loudly. "Paha, how could that be? I just don't want us fighting amongst ourselves, letting that brat benefit." He stood up and looked directly into Lin Qingwu's eyes, suggesting, "How about we put on a little show for that brat?" Qingwu frowned. "What kind of show?" Qian tu looked at her with a serious expression. Later, Miss Lin bid openly at the auction. "Enter a number that will satisfy that brat. The rest of us don't need to bid seriously. Just make a token gesture. Offer a little silver. I've already discussed the specific bidding amounts with the other heads of the merchant guilds. I guarantee everyone will obtain a maritime permit at a much lower price than expected. Then everyone will have the right to set sail. Wouldn't it be great to make a fortune together?" Lin Qingwu frowned deeply. "And no matter how you put it, you all benefit. I use all my money for this. What do I get?" Qian tu smiled at her. "But don't worry. We absolutely won't let Miss Lin suffer a loss. After we succeed, the 9 households that obtain maritime permits will each give you this amount." He wrote the number 500 on the table. Lin Qingwu frowned, looking at the number. With this money, she would have the capital to set sail. She looked at him and asked, "What guarantee do I have that I can trust you?" Qian tu looked at her indifferently and said, "The ink is clear." As soon as he finished speaking, someone brought an inkstone and brush. Qian tu began to write, "I, Qian, am willing to make a commitment. I will give my own maritime permit to Miss Lin. With my permit in your hand, Miss Lin, are you still afraid I'll renege?" Lin Qingwu took the paper and smiled. "Deal." Half an hour later, Morong Zhan looked at Lin Qingwu and asked, "Miss Lin, have you made up your mind?" Lin Qingwu looked at him with a cold smile. "Cut the crap. You just want to humiliate me, don't you? I'll take responsibility for my own actions. I absolutely won't implicate these merchant guilds." She stuffed the red paper into the auction box and continued coldly, "Today, I will donate all of my money to disaster relief. Everyone, please do your best. There's no need to be threatened by young Master Moreau." Hearing this, everyone cheered and applauded. "Miss Lin is so noble." "Thank you, Miss Lin." Lin Qingwu looked at Murong Zhan with a cold smile and said, "You can forget about swindling my money. I won't let you take a single coin from anyone else." Murong Zhan's face darkened with anger. Fine. You've done well." Murong Zhan placed the red paper onto the tray and then hung up a list. The list read, first place, Lin Qingwu, 20,000 taels of silver. Second place, Qian Tu, 100 taels of silver. Third place, 60 taels of silver. Fourth place, 50 taels of silver. Fifth place, 40 taels of silver. Sixth place, 30 taels. Seventh place, 20 taels. Eighth place, 10 taels of silver. The 10 individuals who successfully bid on the maritime permits. Lin Qingwu gave a cold laugh. Murong Zhan looked at her indifferently and said, "Besides this, I have one more thing to announce. From today onwards, Manager Qian's Fuchuang Trading Company will be incorporated into the Murong family." Lin Qingwu was stunned. "What?" Murong Zhan looked at Lin Qingwu with a cold smile. He patted Qian Tu's shoulder and said with a smirk, "From now on, there will be no more Fuchuang Trading Company. Everything will operate under the Murong family." Lin Qingwu narrowed her eyes, which means Manager Qian doesn't need a maritime permit at all. He can set sail with the Murong family. She angrily grabbed Murong Zhan's collar. "You two are working together to scheme against me." Qian Tu angrily pushed her away. "Miss Lin, watch your words. What do you mean by scheme? You volunteered to bankrupt yourself for the country. How can you say we're scheming against you?" Lin Qingwu fell to the ground, her face pale. 20,000 taels. Even if she sold all her possessions, she might not be able to gather that much, let alone set sail. Murong Zhan glanced at her and sneered that, "You're destined to be trapped unless you come and beg me." A while later, Morongjian was relaxing in a bath. Lin Qingwu stood behind him, her face dark. Morongjian reached out and pulled her into the bath. He bent down and gently bit her neck. Morongjian held her neck and said with a smile, "Please me." He continued, "So, do you really want to be dragged down by that 20,000 tael donation?" Lin Qingwu leaned down and unwillingly kissed his chest. Morongjian tilted his head back in enjoyment and pulled at her clothes. Their lips met. Lin Qingwu frowned at him. Morongjian looked at her and smiled that I want you to always remember who gave you this feeling. He lowered his head and whispered in her ear. Lin Qingwu blushed and turned her face away. Don't say anymore. Please don't. Her voice grew weaker. Sometime later, Morongjian was asleep in bed. Suddenly, he woke up and looked at the letter beside him. He picked it up and read, "Riding the wind and breaking the waves, we shall not meet again." Morongjian's face darkened. Not good. She's running away. At the docks, everyone stared in astonishment at the fleet before them. Whose impressive fleet is this? It belongs to Madame Lin of the Fragrance Pavilion. She donated 20,000 taels of silver for disaster relief this time. Morongjian galloped up on his horse and shouted, "Stop!" He looked at Lin Qingwu on the ship and asked, "Where did you get the capital to set sail?" Lin Qingwu stood on the deck, looking down at him with a cold smile that I persuaded the magistrate. As long as he funds my voyage, I can earn even more money, which will count as his achievement. Morongjian narrowed his eyes and glared at her. When did you go to see the magistrate? You deliberately came to stall me last night. Lin Qingwu looked at him coldly. If it wasn't to stall you, why would I do that with you? After all, yours is truly terrible. Morongjian gritted his teeth in anger. You. Lin Qingwu looked at him coldly and said, "Morong, wait until I return to deal with you." Morongjian roared furiously, "You're dreaming." Lin Qingwu turned her back, her voice icied. I wonder what surprises await me on this voyage. She thought of Yinsan, Gu Toai, Lu Jiao, and Yang Zhao. And Mo sneered coldly. Just wait until I return. Morongjian furrowed his brows, his lips pressed tightly together. This episode ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and a share so I can be motivated to make more videos. Remember to subscribe to watch the next episodes. Have an energetic day.